Welcome one and all to Unite Battle Hub, and of course, welcome to my two fellow casters here. I'm Digital Bacon, joined by Spartan Tano and Kanachi. Spartan Tano, Tano, let's just shorten it. We're all friends here. How are you doing, buddy? First time at Battle Hub, my guy.
Yes, I am hyped. Yeah, excited to be here. Excited to cast alongside you both. Yeah, an amazing time this is going to be. What a night of gaming we've got ahead of us.
And Kanachi, of course, trouble hit Tuesday. Let's just, say that. So we're making up for today, aren't we?
Yeah, I hope that I don't get nerfed by Big Electric. So we'll see how it works. I got EMP'd. Did not turn out so well. And I'm glad that we're here. It's solid. And yeah, we're gonna have a great cast.
We are, because we've already got 3 teams qualified. Of course, I mean, you were able to catch it on your day on your 4G there, Kanashi, but it was Juicy Kusis that made it through on Tuesday night for the second NA qualifier. The first NA qualifier going to Ignorance last week, and of course the first EU qualifier was picked up by Cinco Guillermo. There is still today and of course this weekend to go. So we'll be finding our final European exclusive secured spot for the region team today, but on Saturday 4 more teams from both EU and NA will make their way through. It's the last chance qualifier, of course, and that means it could be anyone. Who knows? Last month we had I think it was 6 European teams and then 1 American team make it through to the main event, which is going to be this Sunday, folks. So there's a chance that NA could just get absolute dominance. Or looking at today, guys, we have got 9 European teams that are all looking very spicy. Of course, in that first seed we have got Nouns Esports, but Tano, Europe's in a little bit of a, let's say, a confuddlement right now, because of course it's the start of the off-season for a lot of these teams, so we're all just mixing it up, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you see people leaving the teams that they played during, the UCS season, joining other teams, just wanting to play with friends. Like, you have a huge mix-up at this time of year, and to be honest, I find that some of the most exciting Pokemon Unite that you can see, because there's people all coming together, like playing, even sometimes for the first time in these tournaments, and that's exciting. Sometimes you get really fun comps, sometimes you get really fun, plays that you wouldn't have seen, so it's a really exciting time, even though it is the off-season.
Of course, Kanashi, I know you've done a little bit of collegiate coaching, right? What would you be telling these teams if you were Coach Kanashi in this moment where there's not that much pressure on right now for a lot of these squads, right?
Yeah, it's more of, you want to feel it out. You want to make sure that the team chemistry is on point, and this is the place to go ahead and do it. Obviously, there are a little bit of stakes going into it. You do want to treat this like, a qualifier. You want to make sure that if you are going to participate on Sunday, you want to secure your spot today, which would definitely have less teams than the last chance qualifier. But that is going to be up to the way how these teams perform. I would just say, play what you're used to, play what you're comfortable with, and do your best.
Of course, $500 going for the prize pool on Sunday. $250 the first, $125 for second, and then that third, fourth place final at $62.50. And well, it's a lot up for grabs. These 2 teams though are going to be in the mix. I think Sukla, did get to the main event last time around. I'm actually going to check. I think they were one of the teams that got into the money. They were indeed in that 3rd, 4th place. So this is a team that's going to have a lot of, dare I say, weight on their shoulders, Tano, where they're going to be wanted to sort of hit that mark again. There's a lot of powerful squads here though. So last time they made it through in the last chance qualifier. If they can get there in the second qualifier, that's just upgrades for them, isn't it?
It is, and you've got 2 sides of it. You've got the side where you want to do at least as well as you did last time. You want to defend that position that you got, but also you're going to want to do better, because everybody does when they're playing a game like Pokemon Unite. So you've kind of got people that are going to be coming for the crown of the position they got to, but also they want to improve themselves and do better. So you got 2 sides of it, and I just hope to see them go all out and go for it.
And actually, though, here we've seen NA already. We've got our 2 squads from NA being Juicy Kusis and, of course, Ignorance. There is a lot of power. Of course, last month we did see both Luminosity and Exile qualify. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it to the main event, having to dip at the last second. But this month, I think a lot of the teams are realizing, no, we need to step up, because this is going to be some great practice for them, especially when NAIC is just right around the corner for the North American teams, isn't it?
Yeah, this is going to be one excellent practice to get an international stage, get a couple of different regions mixed in. That way you as a team get to see different compositions that you might not see in your basic, like only region only meta. But also, especially heading into NAIC, you want to make sure that you're on top of your game and ready to go. So really excited to see what some of these teams are going to bring to the table, especially into last chance qualifier and obviously main event. So we'll be keeping our eyes peeled for that.
Actually, let's theorycraft a little bit on that, right? Before we get into his very first match, what would you like to see picked up in draft there, Tanner? If you had like one, I don't know, maybe a wild card pick that you think is just on the fringe of meta right now, but could be a difference maker in a lot of these comps.
See, what I do like the meta at the moment, because there is so many different ones that you can pick and play with, and so many different types of comps. But I am a huge fan of random picks that teams have managed to get working. So, for example, I'm a huge Absol fan. So for me, I love when people can get that working, because if you people that are very, very good on Absol, it is the craziest thing you'll ever see. It can be quite tough in the meta that we currently have, but I like those outlandish picks that people just think in the draft phase, like, what? But they've gone Absol? What? So I want to see some of that.
Same question to you, Kanashi.
Yeah, it's the one that I haven't seen played, at least on broadcast on my games. I want to see the bros come out. I want to see the Phalanx. I want to see if any team feels comfortable enough to run it, even with the plethora of counters that are out there. I just want to see if anybody is willing to rip that Beyblade. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for that.
I think we did get to see a little bit of Phalanx back on Tuesday, of course, for North America. My issue was, don't pick Phalanx in the third slot. That just then allowed so many easy counters. Teams need to realize, and I do think we might just see it today, because it is very powerful if there is not a direct counter like Petal Dance Venu on the opposite team, but it's kind of got to be in that fifth slot on the orange side. Second pick might have a little bit of power now in the meta. It always bounces back and forth, but the first bands coming out are going to be Mew, Absol, Leafeon, and Slowbro. It's been a while, Tano, since Slowbro's been a ban option. Normally it's just left on the table.
Yeah, it usually is. And the thing is, there's so many other defenders that get picked for ban above Slowbro, but I feel like maybe they're trying to target that ult, because even, 2 years into this game, that Slowbro ult is still probably one of the best ults in this game.
Kanashi, there you go. The two defenders that kind of get banned more often at the moment, it is definitely Trevor and Umbreon feeling the highs, but Sylveon has seen a massive rise recently as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think that it's because of the hyper voice. You could use it to one zone out people, but also lower a bit of that special defense. If you want to like lean in a ton of damage, you could definitely do something like that. So glad that the defenders are getting played. Usually they do get banned out. We see that happen quite a bit. So letting a couple of these slide through, we're going to be at least having a solid front line in this matchup here.
Seeing a quick support, and then Blaziken again feeling very good in this kind of meta, where we're seeing also a rise in solo queue, right, and ranked of your T-Tars at the moment, and a lot of those big high level battlers. But Blaziken has always been so competitively viable, hasn't it, Tano?
It has, and I think because of the other big flashy mons that people play in that role, I think Blaziken goes under the radar slightly because of that. It is a very strong mon, and it is especially good in competitive, so I'm not surprised to see it getting picked here.
Scizor/Cypher on the opposite end. I would always bet there's going to be a Cypher Kanashi, but we have seen a few Scizors in the past, and of course Blissey is always a good, reliable Pokemon to pick as your support.
Yeah, just trying to top off the Scizor, make sure that they can stay alive in some of these fights is going to be really important. So really interested in seeing if it is going to be Scyther or Scizor. One just deals a lot more power and more damage, but the other one is a little bit more shifty. We'll see if teams could go ahead and lock that down.
Final pick as well. It's been a while since we've seen Buzzwole be left at that final moment. The same can be said for a Blastoise. All 5 are locked in for each side. I'm going to go step off to the side, have a little chill whilst you two cast it. Enjoy, lads. Tano, take it away.
Yeah, exciting. I mean, what some teams we've got here, Kanashi. I mean, we've got the double all-rounder comp over on the side of Sukri, and then Kality over there with quite a bit of damage with the Sylveon and what we expect either to be a Scizor or a Cypher.
Yeah, I think that overall, Sucra has a lot of damage that has to be played within that mean look. It has to be something that's within a small amount of range. A lot of these Pokemon are mid-range, except for the Cramorant. So I'm expecting the Cram, if it's not contested, it's going to be pretty uncontested. If it just could stay hidden, if it can deal some of the damage from the backline, I think that's going to be something that we will be looking into, especially heading into this game number 1 and seeing the pace that these teams are going to be playing at.
Exciting stuff. And I mean, mentioning the Cramorant and the Eldegoss, I mean, we saw recent sort of buffs and nerfs happening with those in the recent patch, but it's exciting to see, despite the nerfs to Eldegoss, it's still a very viable Pokemon in that support role. I still feel like it does some decent damage, does some good healing, so it's not really been taken off that crown just yet for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree, and especially if you're going to have like a mid-range kind of fight, you want to toss that Pollen Puff in the fight. So that way the team is healed or topped off in the middle of the fight. It's a lot easier for them.
Yeah, 100%. So we see the little Chansey giving some help in this jungle clear for, we will be excited to see if it is a Cypher or a Scizor. We will find out shortly. We have that Squirtle in the top lane. It looks like there's going to be some contesting going on up there. It is a good enough one to be up there on its own to begin with their Kanashi.
Yeah, just a good amount of zoning, a little bit of last hitting as well, just to create a little bit of space for the team. And the Chansey going to go ahead and rotate through here, make sure that they don't fall too early, and just keep their levels up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with the Qualifier up there, you know, with that red buff as well, it's really strong at being able to slow Mons down up in that top lane, helping keep that dominance on the torch. We do see the Cypher. It is a Cypher. We see the dual Windbeat being picked there. They nearly pick up the Umbreon, but Umbreon is quite tanky for an Eevee.
Yeah, just going to be able to back out of that, make sure that they're topped off in terms of healing, and then go ahead and rotate through. But you already see the Scyther already shows itself down at bottom, forces Sucra's Matang to be sitting here as well, trying to get a little bit of damage onto this initial start. The Meatloaf going to go ahead and trap up the Sylveon, going to go ahead and take them out. Now it's just this poor Phantump at the moment. Phantump versus 3, just trying to maybe poke them away, prevent a little bit of this scoring, but it's not going to be for naught. But you already see the jungle invade coming out from the Scyther as well.
Yeah, and this is it. When you are this aggressive to begin with, you can really limit what the other team can do. Obviously, you've got that Matang in there. They're not going to be able to get that either as quick as they wanted to. We do see the Cypher popping down dual Windbeat. They do pick up the Matang there. Cramorant is just trying to keep at that little bit of range because, boy, can that Cypher do a lot of damage there. Looks like we're going to have to see a bit of a retreat here, Kanashi, but the mean look coming in from the Umbreon. Are they going to be able to pick it up with the damage of the boosted? They do pick up the Cypher there.
Yeah, really important pick. You know, if you're gonna lose out on some of the central area farm, you want to get a trade for it. Looks like they're also gonna go pick up that Sylveon as a little bit of a compensation as well. So Sucra, just trying to even up a little bit of this experience that they may have lost in the central area, are slowly rotating down to the base of Reggie.
So they did break that T1 there. It wasn't much of an overcap from what I could see. So it does open up that extra lane of XP down on that lane for the Sylveon. And eventually we do get that Trevenant there. So that's going to be quite detrimental to how these first objectives evolve.
Yeah, and especially at what time they can be used and be effective at. We're looking at that 7-minute mark because usually that's when the first Reggies spawn, but it looks like the Unite move is going to be popped out here up at top. Going to go ahead and grab 2, and they're looking to return the favor up at top lane, grab an objective, and this time focusing onto the Regieleki to go ahead and start for Kality. Meanwhile, Sucra focusing their efforts down at bottom.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that they're trying to put that pressure onto that top lane. They don't have Springboard yet, so they can help push that Lecky in. The Sylveon does fall to the Umbreon there, so it does look like Sucre are going to be able to get this Regirock down here, which is some great XP for them. But look at the aggression happening on this T2 here. We see a lot of damage coming in. The Lecky has gone in. They managed to score points. A nice ult coming in there from the Metagross to stop that serve coming in. Are they going to be able to pick up the Trevenant here? Because, wow, does that take some damage to take down? I think it's going to try and retreat. It's stuck in a hole. It's got a lot of damage coming onto it. And I think the rest of the team have decided we'll leave Trevenant to get taken out by the rest.
Yeah, and a sacrificial lamb to go ahead and make sure that the rest of the team can back out. That is exactly what happens to the poor Trevenant. But the rest of the team got out, you know, did its damage up at top lane, and that is something that we have to keep in mind pushing forward. You know, they might not have the speedway, they might not feel confident without having some of this layer of protection to help them out. So Kality, you know, just pushing very aggressively, taking up as much space as possible. Sucre just trying to keep it even on the levels.
Yeah, I mean, it's currently 85 to 200 points over on the side of Kality. It looks like at the moment, because there isn't much action happening, they're just trying to see what spawns next for XP. Blastoise doing some zoning up in that top lane. The Lecky is going to be coming up. We do see the level slightly, it's going a bit more with Sucre with that level 11 Metagross, which is quite strong there, actually.
Yeah, just pretty tanky, tough to get through, and looking for even more forces out. The very Frolic at the moment, but the Unite move coming out. Gonna go ahead and scan, get that KO, and looking for even more. The Blissey just trying to run away, but the Trevenant also narrowly escaping with their life. There's Hydro Typhoon trying to knock up some people. Man of Force also on top to deal some of the damage. It looks like they're trying to reverse the fight right now. Kality just being able to use their timings when their teammates are respawning to try to hold them off, but it doesn't look like Sucre is going to give them that chance. They continue to dunk here at the top lane.
Yeah, they're gonna try and break this goal, but it is quite difficult. A huge bit of damage coming from Blastoise to pick up the Blaziken there. Is Umbreon gonna go down? That Wish does a huge amount of healing. Is it gonna be enough to get them out of there? Blissey's just cutting them off there with that nice CC. It looks like Umbreon is gonna go down there.
Yeah, Umbreon is gonna get tagged up to Sucre, just dealing some of that damage, trying to return the favor in terms of like goal breaks and what the score possibly be. Kality using that time to go ahead and just get the Scyther to get that bottom one. They're already in position to grab the Regieleki as well. So that is a huge take for Kality in terms of the objectives that they could have grabbed here. Just going to give them more space to play with and move forward into.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure that they can be putting on there. We do see the Metagross all coming in. They're trying to pick up they do pick up the Blissey there, so they're going to be able to defend that Lecky with that Unite that they just popped there. We do see a bit of fighting going on in this bottom lane. Cramorant popping there. Oh, are they going to be able to do? Oh, they do pick up one of them. We see the Cypher Unite coming in as well. Cypher going down to the Metagross there. They're going to be able to defend the T1 here, but it is 2-3-3 to 1-3-3 on that scoreline there, Kanashi.
Yeah, just a 100-point lead for Kality. Just scoring whatever they possibly can, applying pressure up at top, forcing a lot of players to have to deal with a lot of the objectives. So good rotations coming out from Kality. They did also leave that bottom goal with 11 more to break. So if they do leave it for the final stretch, it can be something that they can look at as an objective to break. But yeah, we'll be keeping an eye out for that. We'll see if that is going to help them out, or if Sucre could hold them off for the most part.
We have, it's level 14 is the Metagross, which is very, very strong coming into a Rayquaza fight. On the other side, the highest level we have is level 13 for the Cypher, which again is pretty strong, but other than those two, although level 13 Blaziken as well, other than those, it is pretty level across the board, but it looks like they're going to try and see what they can do with getting some points in here. Unfortunately, the Sylveon does go down. I think you've got a very fair point there, though, Kanashi. I think you do leave that goal up for when the Rayquaza spawns, because it's just going to be a bit of a benefit if you manage to get it.
Yeah, and the pick is going to be there for them. Sucre, you see, has this massive level lead, but it looks like they want to start something. Trevenant has to back out again, forces their natural clear as well, so they won't have it for this fight. But we'll see how Sucre wants to go ahead and tackle.
Oh, we see a huge amount of damage. We do see the Blissey Unite coming in there, saving them. We see the Hydro Typhoon coming out. They've managed to secure the Blastoise, so they have Secret only the Cramorant that's gone down. We see the Hyper Voice coming in. They are in the mean look at the moment. There's a Metagross in their face. The Eldegoss also dropping some damage. A huge Wood Hammer coming in there from the Trevenant. It's enough to pick up the Umbreon. They also pick up the I'm not even sure there, sorry, the Eldegoss, a 2 KO stick coming in there from the Sylveon, but it looks like they have ended up on the bit of the back foot there, Kanashi.
Yeah, you see Sucreo just trying to start this off. They have a little bit of HP to play with, and Cality slowly starting to trickle more of their players in, but it's too late. Sucreo gonna go ahead and grab the Ray, but see Cality trying to deal a little bit of damage to their shields and barriers so that they can't just score for free. We'll see if they can hold off a couple of these members. Surf gonna be off target right now, so that dunk is gonna go through, tying it up at 233 at the moment. It's gonna come down to if they can score here at all. Because if you remember in Pokemon Unite, if the score is tied, it's the team that scored it first that will get the win. So they are, Metagross gets a little bit more in. That's going to push them over the edge. But 33 seconds left. We'll see if Cality can make a push here, or if the Hundo Dunks are just going to be a little too much here.
Yeah, I mean, 20 seconds left of this game here, chat, as we can see, and we've got the Eldegoss down there defending that T1. As we mentioned, it can be an issue because the score is quite close. They do need to score just over 100 points, though, which is going to be difficult to do, especially with that Cramorant Unite coming out with the eject button as well. They're going to be able to rip the enemy here. It's not like they're going to be able to get any scores in, and then we see that final surrender just before the game ends. What a way to end that game, Kanashi.
Yeah, just a lot of back and forth moving throughout this entire matchup here. Really well played by both of these teams. You know, Sucreo may have lost out on a lot of the objectives, but just being able to understand, like, we have the levels going into this fight, we could be a little bit more aggressive. They played that quite well. So Cality, I still wouldn't change too much. I do think that the way how they were playing is really good. So if anything, it might just be a couple things heading into draft, especially heading into first pick. You might be able to grab something that makes you feel more comfortable here.
Yeah, 100%. The Metagross being level 15 coming into those Rayquaza fights is really, really big. I mean, we can see the damage that was dropped there, but as you say, it did seem like a bit of a pendulum on both sides. It wasn't like one team was dominating the other. It was very much a give and push in that. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing here this trio pushing this bottom lane, picking up the Sylveon, and I mean, I tell you what, Phantom, 10 out of 10 effort for trying to defend against 3 Mons on that T1 there.
Yeah, just gotta poke, gotta make sure that you could stop some of these scores from going through. But once again, like, Sucreo like started off a little bit slower. You saw Cality kind of playing with the spacing on the map, a couple of aggressive plays, for example, like the Scyther getting, like, pushing into some of those earlier lanes and just giving them space to play with. But Sucreo did a really good job of prioritizing what they needed to do, which was to get the Metagross online. And once they do that, they could go ahead and start some of these fights. So it just works out quite well for them.
Yeah, really, really well played from both teams there. It's an exciting first game that we've had there, Kanashi. Really exciting to see. What would you, going into this next game, what do you think is going to be the plan or the mindset for both teams?
I think if you're Sucreo, I think you still want to play off of objectives, maybe not give up as many as you did to Cality, because I think that there was a chance that if Cality gets a little bit more experience, plays it a little bit safer, they could have caught up in this matchup. For Cality, on the other hand, I do think that it's just a matter of keeping the same pace. You want to keep up with the same pace that Sucreo is playing with. Grab some of the objectives, maybe get a little, like, utilize some of that map pressure that you saw earlier and eat up a lot more of the map. Just make it really tough for Sucreo to really just get the levels online.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. As I say, we saw Quality being able to grab quite a lot of objectives there. I mean, there was a point where they managed to grab the Lecky and the Reggie at the bottom, which is a perfect position to be in as that team. It'd be interesting to see how Sucre put more prominence on those objectives. You know, you need those rotations. You need to be there early enough to at least make a presence, or even have a bit of a cheeky steal. But I do think the objectives do make a huge difference. Really well played by them to come back into it, though. That Rayquaza fight was really, really good. Taking that win there. So it's currently 1-0 to Sucre. Yeah, really exciting game.
Yeah, and looking forward to seeing what the rest of the picks are going to look like. We saw the bans kind of let a lot of these defenders through. We'll see if Umbreon is going to get hit in this next upcoming ban. This ban wave, it will come down to that. I don't know if we are going to see the pub star T-Tar show up. We've seen it in a lot of our games earlier, but I would be interested in seeing if teams are confident enough to pick it. I think that it would be really interesting to do it like possibly last pick and just go like T-Tar Comfey if you really want to get aggressive with it. But it depends on how well they could play it out and what they could build around it. So I'm just keeping that in the back of my mind, saying like it's an option. We'll see if teams are going to end up picking that out.
I would love to see that, to be honest. T-Tar is, Godzilla is what I call T-Tar, and I love to see it. So I'm with you 100% of the way. I was very surprised to see the Absol ban last game, but we do see the Leafeon and the Mew getting banned off the bat. Totally understandable bans. Looks like Absol's going to be banned again, so it seems as though Sucre really do not want to go up against that Absol there, Kanashi.
Yeah, it's probably a respect ban once again, hitting kind of the same stuff as they did last game. Both teams just kind of shaking hands and being like, okay, yeah, no, none of these ones we'll play off of this. So only going to be the first one to go ahead and pick. Once again, it's going to be that Umbreon going their way. Sucre going to go ahead and lock that one in.
It seems as though both teams are taking the attitude of let's do the same again. Let's do what we just did. It could have gone either way. I mean, that Rayquaza fight is really the one that decided it. So maybe that's the attitude that the teams have coming into that. We do see that Sylveon and the Trevenant picked again. So I'd be surprised if we do see much changes here, Kanashi.
Yeah, it's looking pretty exactly the same so far. We'll see. Are they possibly just saying, okay, shake hands, run it back? Or do you think that there is going to be a change in some of these pickups, especially heading into these last couple of them? We do see the Venusaur going to be the pick up here, Blissey as well. So a couple of changes here, but we'll see if Sucre is going to stick to their guns or if there's any other changes that are going to be made.
Yeah, it seems Sucre are going to stick to what they previously had, which again, if you manage to win the game, why wouldn't you? Especially if most of Quality is similar. Will we see a Glaceon? Glaceon is still very strong at the moment. It does look like we do get that Glaceon pick there, so I do have a bit of a slight change. Do you think this Venusaur is going to be the Beamosaur or the Petal Dance, Kanashi?
I would expect it to be the Beamosaur here, only because the most of this team does lack range, so being able to have that backline to help them out would be really helpful, at least to combat the Cramorant, to possibly shake it out of some of these tall grass positions that they like to play in. So just being able to chuck a beam kind of in that spot is going to be really helpful for them. So that is something that we have to keep in mind. Sucre and Quality going head to head once again. Sucre having the lead heading into this match. So yeah, a couple of changes here. Literally it's just like the Glaceon versus the Umbreon, or the Glaceon versus the Venusaur and the Zoroark are going to be the things that are changed heading into game number 2. Overall, Tano, what do you think of the changes in the draft? Do you think that it's going to be enough for Quality to push forward here?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Zoroark, which is capable of doing the dive, and what I really like is that Venusaur, with being a Venusaur, it gives them poke, and I like the poke that they've got there, Kanashi, because it means when it does come to the Rayquaza fight, you know, depending what position they are in, they can poke, and it means Sakura are going to have to respond to that in some way. So it's kind of forcing their hand a little bit, and that's what I'm liking to see here.
Yeah, and that is exactly what Cali wants to do, you know, force a game 3, and if we do, we'll be bringing you all of that action heading into it. So both these teams, once again, sing an old song and dance in the first part, just making sure that they get their levels up, but we'll see if there's any interesting rotations heading in.
I mean, you know, going through the jungle with the Glaceon or any evolution, as we see the Sylveon doing the same, it's so powerful because the level 4 power spike is so strong on these mons. We see the red buff going on to the Glossifer there, which really helps with the passive of the slow damage they do. But with Sylveon being evolved already, they are going to be able to be really aggressive here. And it looks like they do have Mystical Fire that they've picked up there, Kanashi, which is really good. Maybe that's a little bit of kiting that they're going to try and do around the mons such as the Glaceon.
Yeah, usually you do see the Hyper Voice coming out just to help out with a little bit of the stat drops or a little bit of the zoning, but Mystical Fire is still pretty good. Glaceon looking to possibly get this Blissey, but the little Chansey going to be able to run away with the egg, be okay, and be able to back up for the rest of the team. So keeping an eye out for the positioning of all these, especially having the first bird spot.
Yeah, we see the Ivysaur and the Blissey being able to get that Evo there. That's really strong for Cali. Unfortunately, they do just have a Torchic over on the side of Sakurasuka, which is an adorable mon, but it doesn't quite do enough against a Venusaur and a Blissey there. So that's going to be a tough fight. Phantom, again, trying to get this Evo down in this bottom lane. It seems like Sakurasuka have done a really good job of preventing that happening before the mid-Bs.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is usually we see the Zoroark trying to get some of these levels and then start rotating around, being a nuisance, but it had to play in lane for a little bit just to get a little bit of that pressure. But once again, Cali playing this up-tempo game that we saw from game number 1, and they might pay for it. You see the Sylveon getting dragged back. Do they have enough healing for it? No. They are going to get dropped by that Eldegoss, and Eldegoss looking for even more. The Ivysaur dropping dangerously low, going to be able to grab the Combuskin to go ahead and grab that first one. Still dropping dangerously low, though. Eldegoss going to be able to clean it up. Now it's just a battle of the support. Is it going to be the tank or the Dandelion? We'll see if they happen to get out of here. And that seems to be the case. Rotations coming out from Cali, trying to go ahead and maybe punish the Eldegoss for pushing too far, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Really well played by Cali and Sakurasuka, just going back and forth once again.
Yeah, that was so good. I mean, Eldegoss showing just how those nerfs didn't affect it too much, but Zoroark coming in to show, well, I'm going to take you out anyway, buddy. We do see the Combuskin trying their best there. They do pick it up. They get a 30 dunk in, though, does the Zoroark. A really good score to put in there. And we do have the Bimu online there, Kanashi. So this is going to be a nice refresh for Cali because they can now hit from quite a bit of range.
Yeah, and it's really important that they get that level 7 right before this first initial objective spawn, but they're in no position to possibly steal out the Regirock at the moment. You see Sakurasuka pushing aggressively onto the Sylveon, forcing out the Fairy Frolic to deal a little bit of that damage. They're just going to get trapped up by the Beanlook, not going to be able to be there in time in the beam. A little too late this time. Cali forced to back up as Sakurasuka going to go ahead and push that tempo, dealing a little bit of that space and trying to keep them in this little box here. Glacial Stage going to be able to hit a couple of them. Trevenant going to try to line them up. The beam coming straight through, trying to deal some of the damage to Sakurasuka, who's trying to back out of this fight now. But Cali playing a very good defensive game, but they're looking for even more. They grabbed the Glaceon with that beam to go ahead and open things up for this fight. Gets another one off the rip. Really well done by the Venusaur, and there's Verdant Anger to create a little bit more space for the team, just trying to push back the Umbreon and the Eldegoss, making sure that they can't get any more. But scores coming in for Cali, even though they lose out on the objective, they at least grab the tier 1 to go ahead and open things up, open up the map, play with a little bit more tempo here.
Yeah, what a way to respond to losing an objective there. That's what we like to see. We see a lot of aggression coming into the other side of the jungle here. Are they going to be able to pick up the red buff? The Venusaur with a huge beam. Trevenant, unfortunately, in the mean look. We do see the Blissey Unite coming out. We see the Umbreon Unite as well. There's a lot of damage that's coming in there. We see the Blissey and the Trevenant go down. They're going to try and get out of there as much as they can, Cali, but unfortunately, that mean look again picking up on that Zoroark. So as a response to what has just happened, Sucria Sucra are managing to get really aggressive in this top lane.
Yeah, they're going to break that top one as well. They're trying to look for even more Fairy Frolic activated again coming out of the Sylveon, but it just felt like Kality pushed a little bit too aggressively, went into their backline a little bit, and were punished as Sucria Sucra started grouping up and pushing forward. So looks like the score is going to go into the back, making it just going to go ahead and break that real quick. 33 going over 11 to 22 over Cap, helping him out quite a bit. Kality trying to go ahead and take this fight again. Verdant Anger over the top, not going to be enough as Sucria Sucra starting to chase down and push with this Regieleki that they have going on here. Zoroark trying to deal a little bit of the damage, but Regieleki already touching down on goal number 2, taking out Zoroark for the side of Sucria Sucra. And now the dunks are going in. The second goal is already erased. Even more of the damage coming straight through. So Kality's starting to lose a little bit of their map control as Sucria Sucra is getting aggressive and pushing forward.
Yeah, it's very interesting how just from that one bit of aggression that happened going through the jungle rotation and then back up on that top lane, it's meant the balance of this game has completely swapped here now, Kanashi. Sucria Sucra have managed to get 247 points in. They've broken a T2. They have now secured the Regice as well. They've got all the XP on their side, so it looks like Kality are going to try and grab that if they can, but it seems as if this game has just swapped to Sucria Sucra now, and Kality are going to have to really dig in to get out of this.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same thing that we saw in the last game where it comes down to who has your levels as well as when do you get them. You see already like three level 12s on both sides are pretty good. The support's slowly catching up in level 10, but it does come down to those power spikes. Where can you find your experience? How can you push your tempo? And how well can that help? Kality and Sucria Sucra, even in terms of the experience, but not necessarily in terms of the map.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking about map control, we do see this Lecky that will pop up, and it looks like Kality are going to have to defend against it, because if Sucria Sucra do get that, it will be pushing into the home goal. It seems like they just want to defend against them going for it, but they have everybody up in this top lane ready. We've got the Trevenant drawing away the Glaceon there, whilst the rip is coming in from Kality on that Lecky. We have a 50 dunk going in from Cramorant. That is cheeky, and I love to see it. Putting that to 297, 196 there, Kanashi. Wow.
Yeah, had to give up on the Lecky to go ahead and do it, but it looks like Sucria Sucra is just ready. They're just going to play that defense, break that quickly. We have about 20 seconds left before the final stretch, so a couple of things that we have to keep in mind. Hopefully Kality can just get a couple of these Pokemon up to level 13. That's going to be a really big power spike, and then we'll see how well they deal into the final stretch.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just over 100 points in it, so it's anyone's game. Whoever secures this Great Plaza is going to be anybody's game. So we see both of these teams getting set up here. We've got the poke coming in from the Venusaur. That's exactly what we thought they wanted to select that one for. It's really strong. We've got the Eldegoss trying to do some healing to keep people up there. We're just having a bit of a handshake coming in here. You can see the damage that's coming in from Kality because of that Bimu. It's so strong. If they manage to hit their mark there, we see a Sylveon getting positioned to do a bit of a flank. They're just waiting to start this fight.
Yeah, and we'll see if that is going to be the case. There is a little bit of a scuffle heading up at top, but the fact that Venusaur is level 13, it means that Solar Beam is on half cooldown. Now they're looking to apply a ton of pressure to the Trevenant. Nature's Crew are going to be able to keep them on Verdant Anger right over the top, and Kality now starting to take control of this fight as they continue to push on forward. Sucria Sucra on the back foot. They notice that Kality all dropping dangerously low. Instead is going for the scores, just trying to break and score as much as possible. And they're going to have to back out at the moment. Left side team, which is still Sucria Sucra having the lead, and now they had to give up on quite a few of these picks here. And you see how low the Venusaur is. They're starting to pick up on the Zoroark. Gonna be able to trade 1-for-1, but now Venusaur out of the picture. Kality losing their grip on the Rayquaza, and it looks like they are just gonna wave the white flag, realize they don't have enough firepower for this, and yeah, gonna be game number 2 going towards Sucria Sucra.
Wow. I mean, I feel like Kality had a really good situation there, but it felt like the team was either split on scoring or ripping that Rayquaza. I feel like if maybe they'd have gone for just the one route, either let's break this T2, let's get these scores in because it's not that much of a difference in score, or go for the Rayquaza, that may have worked. But I think with just the Venusaur going for the Rayquaza, it just wasn't enough there. That beam could have really been helpful on that goal there, Kanashi.
Yeah, I feel like you had to commit to one or the other. Like, I thought it was a really dangerous idea to push into the tier 2. I understand, like, break the goals, then go for it. But at the same time, it felt like they won the team fight going into that final stretch, or like right before the final stretch, to help them out. But when it came down to deciding whether to score or to go for the objective, the team was split right down the middle, and Sucre took advantage. They took the fights, and that's how well they do. They play in the snowball respawn mentality. So if everybody happens to come back at the same time, they're snowballing onto one of your teammates. So the team fights didn't go necessarily the way that Kality wanted to. Sucre, you see once again mob mentality, looking like the ghost from Pac-Man, just finding one thing to collapse on and just going after it. Is something that Sucre has made their name off of in the past couple elite tours as well.
Yeah, we did see more objective pushes coming in from Sucre, which was really good to see. They responded to what happened in the previous game. So we really like to see teams that do take that on board, and then they go in and they make that difference. But as we can see here in this replay, we do see a lot of damage coming in from Kality. They've picked up like 2 people on the side of Sucre, and I feel like if they just keep putting effort into that team fight instead of going for that score, as you mentioned, they really would change the output of that fight. But really well played to both teams. It wasn't like one team was running away with it. Again, they are both really, really dominant teams. It was great to see, but Sucre coming out with a win on that one.
Yeah, and we are all winners here. Obviously, well done to Kality for putting on a really good show versus Sucre. But we have to take a quick break. I hope everybody's enjoying the matches. We're going to be bringing you more of the Pokemon Unite Elite Tour right after this short break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Apologies, we had quite a long break there. It's my fault. I went to go get some food. No, it wasn't. We were waiting. We were waiting for a couple of games to finish. So big apologies. We did do some giveaways in chat, so I hope some people did get those wins in, which is huge to see. But now, wow, do we have a game for you? So we're going to be going into this first semi-final here, which is going to be Nouns Esports versus Sucria Sucra. So, wow. I mean, what's going to be the main thing that you're going to be excited to see coming into this game here, Bacon?
For me, it's going to be Nouns and their... So the reason why that took so long, right? We originally thought it was going to be Mums La Coach versus Hog Riders. They just started without us. So we then went, you know what? We've got another semi-final. But Nouns went to game 3. Now, Patty Stack aren't bad at all. But they were one of our lower seeds. You know, when you got Lestat, Leognis, Apple and Josmog, and... We've got a lot of great players in EU right now, especially in an event like this. But Nouns should have had that in too. They're playing weird tonight, guys. I saw Gatlu on a Dodrio. Like, you know, what is going on? They're just not playing their normal sort of roles, having fun with it. I think it's mainly because they know Saturday is the last chance to qualify. So, if they don't win today, they've got another shot at it. But tonight, they're just having fun. They're picking some really out-of-the-box picks that I'm going to say could be in their favor in some regards because, you know, no one's really expecting it, really knowing what they're going to throw out. But in other regards, it's not what they're best mechanically on, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And to be honest, though, I like it when teams come in like that. When you are a team as big as Nouns and you know what you can do, like I do like coming into this. They know they've got the last chance qualifier and just having fun with it because it's Pokemon Unite. It is a hell of a fun game to play. So yeah, 100% there. But Sucra are going to be coming up against Nouns, Kanashi. So what do you think the mindset is going to be as Sucra coming into this here?
Yeah, from the last game that we watched them versus Kality, where they were playing the pace of the game quite well, just understanding what was going on. I feel like Sucra caught a little bit of a break in that game number 2 versus Kality, but I do think that they are very objective focused, and they like to make sure that everybody gets their leveling quite well. So they definitely know their way around the map. They know how to split up experience really well. And I'm looking for that kind of same mentality going into round number 3 and into the semifinals match here.
That's really, really exciting stuff. I mean, you've got to keep that mindset of you of, you know, it is Nouns, but lock in, you know what you can do. We saw it previously where you know, Sucra were doing really good at grouping up and taking those team fights. Do you think there's going to be some sort of thing that there's some sort of plan they're going to work with the bans to try and work through Nouns, try and, you know, get those certain people on their favorite Mons band? But that's going to be quite hard to do when Nouns are just playing whatever they want, though, Bacon, right?
Yeah, Nouns have got such a wide pool between them that bans aren't necessarily going to hurt them too much. For me, if you are going to be banning anything, maybe the Umbreon's a better pick, right? Or the Slowbro, like we saw earlier, just near enough. Something that can halt what you're doing, because Sucla need to think about themselves more so and come up with weird plans. Like, dare I say, game 1, they could come out with a score comp, you know, and just absolutely hammer that top path. Second game, they go maybe a little bit more invade, a little bit more aggressive, prioritizing the bottom path. So it's going to be those kind of differences, which is going to keep Nouns on their toes. You don't let Nouns get comfortable. You don't let Nouns exert their own game. Instead, you focus primarily on your own. And that's where, like, those weird comps, or even maybe go an early comp, you know, go full Eevee comp essentially, could really work out for this squad so that they don't play into Nouns' hands and let them really run away with it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, you've tipped on it there. There's so many metas and so many comps that work so well in Pokemon Unite at the moment. We are going into the draft phase here, and we can see that Sylveon has been banned straight out of the bat for Nouns Esports there. And is that a Daciel locking in Buzzwole already?
That's just a visual bug for our spectator client, unfortunately. Nothing's locked in just yet, but Leafeon on the opposite end, again, another big powerful hitter. You don't really want to leave it on the table, even though for Sucla, they probably would have loved to have the Leafeon themselves. They just can't afford leaving it up.
Yeah, and it just shows how strong these evolutions are currently in this game. Like, that they're very often banned. We do see a Hooper ban coming in there from Nouns Esports. What do we think the thinking is going to be around that, Kanashi?
Yeah, they just don't want any fast rotations, you know, just play at the pace that your team possibly can is really solid. Umbreon is going to be the last ban coming out as well, so a couple of defenders taken off the table, probably some of the bigger ones to keep in mind as well.
Yeah, and from that we see the Trevenant pick straight away by Bruv there. It's like one of the strongest defenders in this game at the moment and one of the best players on them. Lucario getting picked there is a really interesting one, Bacon. What do we think about that?
Yeah, Lucario right now is in a really nice spot where it is so flexible. When you're being careful there, Claire Sucre, of course, they know on the opposite end, got like, you know, your Gatlu and Desu, take away the Elder Gods. Don't let them have the supporter of choice when Hooper is removed. So Lucario is just giving them flexibility. He can play into any of the comps right now, and even to a little bit of a degree when you're playing weird like how Nouns are at the moment, you can kind of shut down with a lot of big, powerful, and a lot of movement based attacks. So now that we're seeing what the basis of what Nouns are throwing forward, this is when Sinclair will go in for those defenders. But that Cramorant at the moment is super odd still.
I mean, they really do enjoy that Cramorant. And hey, if it has worked for them in the previous set, I understand why you would want to go for it. But if we look at Nouns, you've got the Zorak there with quite a bit of dive, and then also the Toonslim on the Inteleon Kanashi. So that's going to be quite a bit of range that they can use if they go for that snipe shot, right?
Yeah, it's going to give them a lot of poke potential. Yeah, we got the Beyblade. Little Phalanx boys are coming in, so... we'll see how that is going to play out, especially with Umbreon out of the picture. That's going to help them out quite a bit. And final pick coming out from Sucra, looking at the Mimikyu. So a lot of interesting picks, and I do agree with what Bacon said a lot earlier, where it's going to be a matter of Sucra can not worry about the names on the other side and the title of Nouns Esports, but rather focus on their own game and see if they can play and execute that to the best of their advantage.
Yeah, 100%. What a game we are going to have here. I will leave it to you both. Have an amazing time, and I'll catch you in a bit.
Nolan has got a lot of weight on his shoulders here, Kanashi, to go up against Gatlu playing the Phalanx. Sorry, let me just clear my throat there for a moment, because it's going to be down to Lucario, whether they're running E-Speed, power up punch, bone rush, close combat. All of Lucario's moves can rush through multiple members of that Phalanx, and that's going to be so vital to really knock them down. And I think that was also part of the idea of picking Lucario earlier, was just like, you know what, you can't play that Pokemon, yet they're playing it anyway, because Phalanx, as long as they do get assisted by something like a Comfey, which we're seeing, they can get so beefy, so powerful. It's why in that final spot, I'm surprised the poke pick wasn't the, something like a Venusaur to go through multiple ones. Don't get me wrong, Decidueye Spirit Shackle will hit multiple targets. It just doesn't have that same sort of capability when up close.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's going to be really interesting to see the Phalanx being played out here. And what the thing that I'm mostly afraid of is how quickly the Zoroark gets online, and if it does get online, Comfey, backfeeding, helping out with a lot of that damage and sustain over the course of the game is going to be something that a lot of teams have to keep in mind.
Well, the beauty of Nance Comp as well is allowing that Zoroark to get to level 5 within the first spin of that central area. Phalanx is looking to be a stack in Phalanx as well. Not being allowed that stack because, well, Gossiflora is fantastic, but I like that pivot there from Xiaomi, is to go away from, no, okay, you can get your stack in, but I'm going to get rid of the rest of the wild Pokemon beside our goal. Clever.
Yeah, make sure that they can't get those stacks going their way. Punish them a little bit for just overstaying too. Really help them out here to just keep them up.
Zoroark now going to look to harass this bottom goal. That's a 3-14. They might be stacking as well. We do tend to see that the attack weight on the Zoroark. But, yeah, those birds weren't around for any time at all, were they?
No, though they were here for as long as you could think about the words. And now they're gone. We have to worry about what's possibly going down here. Crustle being able to escape with just a sliver of HP, but this is the thing that I was talking about. Zoroark now online-ish, plus Comfey. How do you close out on this, especially in the early game?
No, big invade as well, trying to hustle. The Crossel gets rid of the Mimikyu. Could be a nice little alteration on his Shadow Claw, but oh my, Seiyuu just does not give a damn. Just running through both of them. And well. Nouns, I said it earlier, the thing you do not want to give them is the early game. Give them their own way, and they're doing exactly that.
Yeah, in my favorite LMFAO lyric, they were running through them like Drano. It is crazy that I would be able to quote Party Rock Anthem in a Pokemon Unite broadcast, but here we are. But yeah, they're just aggressive with it, you know? You have the levels, you have the Comfey to make sure that you're topped off in all fights. Okay, this one might be a little dangerous, but we'll see if they happen to slip on through. There's four versus 2 at the moment, so we'll see if Zoroark can get anything else going for them.
But it's not just the Zoroark. Look at the Inteleon fighting one-on-one with the Mimikyu in that bottom path. So they're trying to get the steps, they're trying to get the power-ups, making sure that they keep on line with one another. On this top path, of course, the Zoroark is a big threat, but if it does go down, it's going to give so much XP to the opposite side. Russell's trying to stay in the mix. Zoroark's gone super deep, but there's Midnight Days landing down, doing massive damage to top everyone, and that is just a Clay Sukla removed from the top path, goal removed, and now they'll move onto the Regieleki. Oh, my, they are dancing out there.
Yeah, first objective spawn already level 10. Like, they're running at a tempo that is starting to become untouchable. So it's really scary to fight into something like this, let alone like have to deal with that plus the Comfey. So just the amount of tempo. This was the thing that I was mentioning, is like it does come down to how well the Zoroark can deal the damage, take some of these fights, and keep their levels up. Now they're doing exactly that heading into this match.
Well, again, we were talking earlier about how the Phalanx could be a massive issue, but we're kind of forgetting about the Comfey Zoroark combo and just how powerful that was, sort of re-envisioned by the Japanese teams back at the AS Cup at EUIC, and we're seeing that being adopted in numerous tournaments, and Nouns have copied it perfectly. Just so much harassment, and even in matchups, which it is technically weak against, and like your Mimikyu, because of that level advantage, 2 on top of the Mimikyu, just runs over it. It just does not care.
Yeah, it's going too fast. They laced up the Nikes, decided to just sprint straight down their entire team, and you see the speed difference here right now. Like, yeah, it's level 11. The rest of the team is starting to catch up in terms of levels, but like it's really tough to take a fight without knowing where Zoroark is at any time.
That's also a big problem. Comfey feeling happy to be left on their own. Of course, only Elgos nearby, and Elgos a level down on Comfey, not able to do anything realistically to them. Zora turned up at the perfect time, and the Elgos gone in no time. Lucario looks to get out of dodge, and the rest of the team have to now retreat back into their central area. Crustle caught a little bit out, just trying to space out the team, but it's only a matter of time before they fall to Zoroark as well, and right on cue, they go down.
Yeah, and we'll see if Zoroark wants to go for more. They just let the Comfey attach, detach. A couple pokes coming out from the Inteleon as well. So Greyosuke having a really tough time dealing with the Zoroark at the moment. I don't know if there is enough experience to keep that at bay, but we will definitely be keeping an eye out for the Zoro.
You don't have to worry so much on the opposite side for the Crustle or the Elgos. They are okay hit 9, they should hit 10, and hopefully 11 by Raid Fight, but it is all going to come down to that Raid Fight. That means Cram has to be online, that means Mimikyu and Lucario all have to be in the mix, and they've got to get a good pick. This is harsh though, it's only in ice, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be global XP, again, going in favor of Nouns, and on that top path, the Phalanx on the Omens, taking down the Regieleki, harassing even more, not allowing Lucario to be the rest of the team. They'll have to handle that, whilst the rest of the team getting absolutely harassed on this bottom path. There is Zoroark once again, and the Trevenant Bruv is wanting to lock down the Crustle. They're not allowed any freedom at all.
Yeah, just not letting them outside. Don't let them do anything. Keep them indoors. Sounds like a good day to me, but it's not a good day if you are Greyosuke at the moment. You just see how much pressure Nouns is applying to this team. Like, You have poke damage coming in from the Inteleon. You have to deal with the Zoroark dashing in and out of your entire team. Plus a huge dunk going on top. Like, it's just so much pressure that Sakura can't handle at the moment.
You don't want to allow them to have this bottom pad as well to fight from, so you can't blame Sakura getting those dunks in right now. Also keeps them within roughly 200, which is pretty good for a Ray fight, but because if they can get 3 dunks, that means they're going to be ahead and it's going to force the hands of Nouns. But again, central area farm just being demolished straight away. But I love it, Sakura now adjusting to it accordingly, prioritizing that contested XP.
Yeah, and level 14 heading into final stretch, 13th for Phalanx and the Inteleon as well. Just keeping those levels up, but I do think there is a win condition for Sakura, and it is something that they've proven over the last games that we did watch with them. They're very patient when it comes to some of these team fights. So if they happen to catch somebody out, they get that pick, they can collapse on and figure out how they want to play it. So I do think that that's going to be really helpful for Sakura if they understand what they need to pick and how they play it out, especially into the final stretch. They definitely have a shot here.
Sakura already pushing into their opponent's half. It's leaving them vulnerable. They're wide open. They're spread out. And instead, Lucario right now is trying to tickle the Rayquaza. We do have the Phalanx getting caught by the Mimikyu. That is a perfect adjustment. And they have taken down the Mimikyu. Trevenant's down as well. Sakura have suddenly found magic in the mix. And it's Cramrat to take down Rayquaza. Everyone down apart from the Comfey. And so Sakura run it towards those goals. That's going to be 100 in the bottom from the Mimikyu. The Cramrat gets 100 up top. It's only 52 from the Crossel into that second tier goal on the top path, but it does put Sakura in the driving seat. However, here Kanashi, there's still 1:10 left. Nouns can bounce back.
Yeah, it's way too close for comfort at the moment. So they do have the lead. They know what they need to do, and Lucario needs to score this 100. This is kind of where the ideas and the concepts lie. It's where can you score this? How are you going to score it? Can you score it? And how do you prevent Sakura from scoring while you're trying to do something like this? Dash does show a little bit, but here's a Crossel up at top. Has plenty of space to do it. That's going to be 100 to just go ahead and put the nail in the coffin here in game number 1. Good, yeah, game number 1 between Nouns Esports and Sakura.
So yeah, that 28 seconds. If Nouns can clean up, they might be able to find something. But the extra 100 does give him a little bit of leeway. That's 2 going down. Lucario finally at level 14. Don't get me wrong, 13 in that last fight as well is cleaning up. It was a late game bout. Everything went against the Sugary squad. But nonetheless, in their final moments, they got their picks, they got their marks, and they have got game 1.
Yeah, and once we finally get around to replays, we can definitely talk about it. But once again, Sakura plays so methodically and so patiently that when they find an opening, they take advantage of it. So when it came down to that fight, they were like, "Oh, Mimikyu's on our backline. If we collapse in on that, we could go ahead and get that. If we happen to pick off the Phalanx, that gives us an opening in order to push on forward." They also picked off I think they got Bruv pretty early too. So they're like, there's no crowd control going into the team fights. It's just the damage. So if we're able to hold them in place for any moment of time, we happen to get that shred going through. Just gave them that opportunity to go ahead and take Ray as well. So overall, really good numbers coming out from Sakura, especially in that second half. And
I think it just comes down to the confusion. Sakura shouldn't have been going so deep off that initial engage. They should have been looking for a single target. So that kind of mindset is probably what confused Nouns. Gatlu went in with the Phalanx trying to punish, and so Mimikyu just sectioning out the Phalanx on its own, drawing them really low, and then a follow-up hit. I can't remember who it was. I think it was the Cramrat. It just removed a single member. Lucario then, amongst all that confusion, dashed into the backlines, was able to catch out the Trevenant, and then you're in a 5v3 situation. I know CAU was up at level 14 at that point, but they're still fairly squishy. Even with a Comfey on top, when you're going up against 3, it's just not going to happen, is it, Chief?
Yeah, sometimes the numbers do math good. English very hard, but math
Good.
bigger number usually wins. So this is the main fight that we want to break down. This is that Ray fight, and you see them already prioritizing taking the Ray and forcing Nouns Esports to put themselves in a bad position to go ahead and contest. They did a really good job. You could see me being like, "Oh, what just happened?" Sometimes we just have to understand exactly what went down there. We had no idea. Sukrea Sukra just doing what they do best, playing patiently, finding picks, and continuing forward and taking one off of Nouns Esports.
And this is the squad. Of course, we know Nouns went the whole way to the grand finals last time around, but they fell second. Nouns are not invincible in EU. We've got a ton of great squads. Sukrea Sukra, from plays like this, showed themselves capable, showed themselves strong enough. And, well, they've shown themselves one step closer to the grand finals of tonight's action. One more game, and they will topple the Giants of EU and head into that grand finals to face up against it was literally a last-second sign-up, like last 5 minutes in Hog Rider. And it's going to be a crazy one if Nouns do drop. But Nouns, we know, can just suddenly go, right, folks, we go to our normal roles. We bring back that normality. We basically work on what we've come together in scrims with. This is going to be a different Nouns going into game 2. This is going to be a Nouns that not only respects their opponents, but respects each other's capabilities and their strengths. They're going to be firing all cylinders for this game 2.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide to pick and ban, and I feel like they're gonna take it a little bit more seriously. They clearly, you don't want to play on Saturday, but you want to make sure that like you could lock down your spot for Sunday.
Wait, sorry. Caveat,
right?
If you do want to play on Saturday,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, go sign up, events in chat now. But like these teams currently want to win it all tonight, so they get a little bit more rest, don't they?
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
Hey.
That's what I was picking at. But like,
I got you.
Yeah, they don't want to like take their chances on missing out, especially since they're already here playing in the tournament. It looks like Sukrea Sukra actually letting a ban slip through. We'll see if they want to pick up something in particular. It's going to be the Umbreon, so going to be able to help them out with a little bit more crowd control. Bruv back on that Trevenant, and we'll see if anything else comes out from the rest of the team here.
It stops the picks of something like that Zoroark once again if you're forcing that Umbreon straight away. Its SU, though, does pick up the Hooper. That allows for some really wild strats. Normally, it was fantastic on Leogos last time around, so that's great. Only picking up the Cramorant once again, so this has been very similar to that first game. Nothing really changing, but Siriu might just flex here. You might got the Lucario last game, but we want them for this game. I'll show you how it's meant to be played, but no. The pivot to Blaziken is fully understandable. Great attacking, great secure as well. So, no, okay. Toon Slim just suddenly went, no, I want Chandelure, jumps in, and Gatlu picking up Snorlax after the changes last a couple of weeks back. Snorlax is incredibly viable once again. It's kind of like an odd pick here and up against their opponents. I'm looking at this perhaps maybe being a Yornlax to try and slow down the opposition, especially if they're going to run something like Metagross in the mix.
Yeah, just looking to be another like big tank, possible nuisance, push a lot of these mid-range characters out of the fight. It might be that option. The T-Tar going to be the last one that's going to be locked in, and we were discussing Pubstar T-Tar. We'll see if we happen to get that. We were initially seeing that with the Comfey, something that teams are really comfortable with, but you know, if we do see the Kaiju running around, this is going to be the time to see it.
It's funny as well, right? You being banned when it just got nerfs, yet T-Tar is now fully in the mix after its recent stat buffs, and they were significant. Of course, on paper, just seeing an increase of, let's say, 20 special defense, 150 HP doesn't sound like much, but it's the moves, the intensity of that slow, if you're running, say, Sand Tomb, the duration of the stuns, it all adds up to make T-Tar a ferocious late game Pokemon. Like, as long as we get, you know, past the first Reggies, who knows if Nouns get their way once again. They could have a T-Tar by the first Reggies, you know, 3 minutes isn't unheard of. Then CAU's just going to be absolutely stomping on the competition.
Yeah, and I think that is going to be something that the other team that Sukra might want to keep in mind. You know, Nouns wants to play this nice and slow. So they are now going back to, once again, like stuff that they have practiced. This is stuff that's in their notepad. They're ready to go. No more messing around. Gloves are off. We're ready to fight. So if you are Sukra, I think once again, play at a good pace, apply a lot of pressure to the ones who are going to deal the damage in the late game, and you should be in control.
Also, you gotta look at that T-Tar against the Metagross. We know Metagross did just get those buffs, but the true damage from T-Char just absolutely eats through them. So Sukra on the draft in front aren't looking too hot here, I would argue, but nonetheless, they came back from what seemed impossible in game 1, taking it and pushing us to this game 2, where, who knows, they just seem to have a little bit of magic about them.
Yeah, that might be the option here, just to make sure that they could get their levels up, play the game as intended, and continue on with that pressure. But Sukra, once again, doesn't want to play from behind. They want to play from in front, but we'll see if they can. Now it's starting to apply pressure to this Eldegoss. This Gossifleur going to go ahead and blow out the Dandelion. They're going to go ahead and get taken out here. But Sukra still playing at a pretty solid pace, just keeping their presence felt throughout the
Big fight over the birds. But Adesu has just sent the rest of the team back to base. They are healed up, looking to fight once again to extend it, but instead they'll have to force it back. Benjay is just absolutely doing bits on this Matang right now, looking to hammer out those arms. Unfortunately, the Torchic will have to fall. Let's have a little reset. No, Benjay is looking for all that farm, making sure to keep the Snorlax and Hooper as low as possible, and I reckon on top of that, they want to get this Gossifleur up to an Eldegoss as quick as possible. They'll have to just be happy at level 3 right now, but we all know Eldegoss, it doesn't need that level 4 as quick as possible. You can allow your teammates to be prioritized.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that you have it at some point. Fight over the mid birds at the moment. Blaziken also going to be dropping down. Combuskin gonna get taken out here, but Nouns, once again, this is like a game number 2. They know that their backs are against the wall after losing game 1, so taking it seriously, ready to take on Sukra and apply a little bit more pressure than they were in that last game.
And they now split the central area this time between the Chandelure and the Pupitar, so an interesting little change up. Adesu having to quickly hit the extreme speed, the X speed, sorry, to get out of dodge, but you know, they're still sniffing about, they're still scouting for the rest of the team. They have been taken down by the Matang. Can they push out? They do have a Snorlax here. Pupitar looking to jump back into the mix, but have they just got caught out? No, that Pupitar able to hold themselves up with the recent stat changes.
Yep, just being a really tanky rock. Still to this day, we still don't know how Ash is able to lift that thing, but you know, it happened. He's got a sleeper build. It's just confirmed, and now the Rock Cocoon has now become the Kaiju. Now the teams have to really worry about dealing with Sand Tomb and everything else that comes with the T-Tar. So online, being aggressive, Sand Tomb trying to push people away, keep them off of the objective, but Regirock only down to half HP at the moment as both teams are starting to poke away at it.
And that is where you take T-Tar. Just absolutely decimate the Regirock. I like the backup from Nouns to essentially force the issue on the rest of the team. Are they going to look to try and crash his bottom tier goal? I thought they were going back to base and then running up towards Regieleki, but no. The Godzilla clone themselves are going to get 40 in there. Trevenant gets 26. That's 14 left. Nice little bit of maths. No! The Trevenant didn't get the 11 in before the Chandelure. So it's not the biggest overdunk you could ask for in that bottom goal, but nonetheless, Nouns have made a statement.
Yeah, they put balls in the cup. That's how this game works. Whoever puts more balls in the cup wins the game. So really good by Nouns Esports to putting putting the balls in the cup. Yeah, they, they were doing a really good job applying pressure early, and we both thought, you know, quick rotation up to top after that, go ahead and contest the other one, but they want to take this fight here. But it looks like the Search and Destroy also coming out here, just creating a little bit of space using the Metagross Unite move. Blaziken's gonna go ahead and secure that down for Sakura Sucra, but it doesn't look like it is for free. It looks like they lost 2 out here, and Snorlax is also down. But Nouns Esports now has the numbers up here. Do they want to go ahead and stop the Regieleki at the moment, or see if they can farm up a little bit while the rest of Sakura Sucra is still close by? Gonna go ahead and push the Umbreon over the wall, flap him over the side. Meanlook gonna try to hold him in place. Not gonna happen. Chandler gonna get that damage through. Titar raging his way through, trying to push onto Sakura Sucra's point, but gonna get sent home. Get a little bit of HP, and now is continuing on the barrage. The rest of the team, Sakura Sucra, starting to rotate back in, starting to spawn back in. And now the collapse coming in, trying to punish them for being over greedy, for overstaying their welcome. They are slowly getting the Sakura Sucra eviction notice from the top goal, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Back up, get the games reset, and see where they want to go from here.
Well, it won't be a reset for so long. The bottom Reggie is back up once again. Both teams realizing, hang on, there's a lot of farm. Is it worth trying to take the central area, or do we jump straight down? They've gone for the central area. Make sure to get those buffs, get into the mix, and, well, get into your little Hooper portal. The hyperspace hole back to base, get healed up, and then go once again. It's looking like Nouns still, though, have to defend against Sakura Sucra. They want to get rid of this top tier 1 goal. I don't know. They left it for too long. Nouns are attacking this bottom Reggie, and it could cost them. Nouns instead, Hoover portal back up. They're going to finish the Reggie and then jump straight up. They want everything. Again, the cake and eating it. There drops the Elder Gods. Look at the Blaziken so low, but getting out of dodge just in time as Umbreon will cover for them.
Yeah, just being able to back out and not only get the objective down at bot, but now still continue on with the pressure at the top. It's a lot to deal with, and this is the power of the Hoopa. You have the ability to rotate around to goal zones as quickly as possible. Oh, they're dropping dangerously low. Sakura Sucra looking to push them off of the Regieleki at the moment. Titar down to a quarter HP, but the rest of the team is also on top of it. So now it's going to go ahead and lock it in. The Yawn coming through to go ahead and slow up a little bit. But yeah, good stability by Nouns. They are all at half HP, might back out of this fight. As Sakura Sucra just trying to reset as well, see if they want to go ahead and push into this Regieleki and continue the pressure up here at top.
Look at the points as well. Nouns might be thinking that they just protect the Ray. They're over 200 up. If they can just leave this Regieleki into the final moments, their plan might be to quickly burn down their opponent's goal and send the Reggie on its way. Nonetheless, though, Sakura Sucra just aren't playing into their hands. They're going to look to try and go for the steal. You can see the Eldegoss posing up for that. Blaziken has dropped. Eldegoss now is right in the mix. Cannot take the steal with the Pollen Path. It's going to be the Titar to finish it off. Well, Regieleki has just found the goal. If they can get a 50 in, they do have the time for it. With 8 seconds remaining, they're going to get a massive overdunk, and then it is protect the president. Do not let Ray fall to Sakura Sucra once again.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do it. They get the quick dunk in there, 80 overcast at the moment, but the T-Star activating the Tyrannical Tantrum, trying to get a little bit of damage in, but they're just going to be sent back. He's still in the middle of the fight. He's surrounded throughout this entire engagement. Sakura Sucra trying to go ahead and lock it down, having to get the scan in. Titar trapped in the corner, taken out, and now Sakura Sucra looking for even more, taking out the Snorlax as well. So they do lose the Cramorant or the Eldegoss in that middle of the fight, but Sakura Sucra now has the numbers advantage. They're going to be down for another 10 seconds. So we'll see if Sakura Sucra can close out this game here and now. Once again, just by finding a couple of good picks on Nouns Esports.
They need to get rid of Adasu right now. They do. Okay, that is the Hooper gone. Not able to get the Titar through, I think. So it is just the Snorlax. Titar looks to go and try and defend the top goal. But no, We've still got Sakurasuka on the Ray. They have got the Ray. Where do they go now? Snorlax looking to try and get a little back cap action going. No one jumps to the base and trying to defend the tier 2 goals. That's a nice 76 from the Snorlax, but the Umbreon was able to get 52. Metagross even stacking up even further. Still 145 between these two teams. It's not enough. They're going to go happen to hunt even more. Snorlax wants to get more in. They didn't jump back to base. They're hassling this tier 2 goal. The tier 1 is still up from Nouns Esport. Madness right now. 20 seconds only left in this one. Umbreon's got a shield.
Left. Umbreon's got shield. Starting to sprint through, but it's gonna get popped up here by the Hoopa, but they need to make the run onto this goal. 5 seconds left. No one's within range. The Blaziken, but it's has enough time, but can they get there? No, the push from the Vanaforce. It's too much, and they're gonna go ahead and secure it. Nouns Esports by a sliver of a push is going to be able to keep their dreams alive. It's going to take it a 1-1 here.
Desu with the push. Just, you know, little golf clap right there. Just like, we see you, buddy. That was insane. As a last second reaction to keep the Blaziken. Don't get me wrong, 50. They're still taking a second to get in. And, you know, if the Blaziken, even then, if you think, you know, if it had the, Blaze Kick to dash across, they might have been able to get there. Who knows? It's a lot of maybes. But one thing we have got for certain, Kanashi, is a game 3.
Yeah, and overall, I don't know how to describe it. It feels like it's been a little messy coming out from both these teams, where, like, you know, you'll see the games play out as is, and you're like, oh yeah, Nouns has like a really significant lead. Sukura will just get the Ray, and then it's like, okay, now what? For the next like minute and a half, we have no idea what could possibly go down. But what we do know is from the replays here, a lot of the fights really going in the way of Nouns Esports early. But Sukura once again finding a way to stay relevant, stay in these matches, and then eventually being able to pick off the T-Tar right before that Ray really helped him out.
All right. We need to throw it to a break, folks, before we head into game number 3. We've got to run a couple of ads. On the opposite side, though, we will get the conclusion of the semi-finals and find out who's going against Hog Rider after this. Game 3 just about get underway, folks. And of course, the last game of the evening for you, Kanashi, before we throw it on over to Quagashi, isn't it?
Yeah, he's waking up out of the pool. But yeah, overall, these games have been for a lack of a better term, they have been nuts. You have games that are pretty even across the board for the first like 8 minutes, and then Ray happens, and then it becomes free for all. You don't know. It's a coin toss after that. So that's what we've been going through. Bacon and I have been just like freaking out over what could possibly happen here, but we have completed game number 2, evening up the score now. So now it's Esports versus Sucre Sucre, 2 of these elite tour powerhouses that we have seen over the course of our short history, going ahead and clashing up here. So
let's just change that to like Battle Hub powerhouses, right? Because double trouble these 2 squads as well. Maybe not Sucre Sucre because they're a newer name, but the players for sure have been absolutely hitting those highs. I'm intrigued. So Sucre Sucre, of course, deciding to be on the second pick this time around. Like we said it earlier, second pick kind of stronger right now in this meta, and they're stopping the Zoroark Comfey combo. They're getting rid of the Comfey. On the opposite end, Nouns they're like, yeah, we don't want Hooper. We know how good Hooper is in this current comp, and it has been in this meta for, such a long time now because of how it unifies teams. Going for these first pick, Trevenant's so good right now as that defender, but Umbreon is so mean with its mean look. Eldegoss is just Xiaomi's clear favorite out of the remaining support options. So they're taking that first, and of course, he does steal it away from Adesu.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and pocket up that Blastoise, make sure that is going to be another thing. So very heavy defender comp, making it tough for a lot of these damage dealers to get to the back line, and without having to go through a big tank like a tree or a turtle. So a lot to keep in mind here for Sucre Sucre. How are they going to get through this front line and cause havoc in the back line?
I love how Sucre Sucre just stick with what they've been playing on the opposite end. Nouns. Now we've got Blastoise in the mix. I love the Delphox, even with its recent nerfs. Interesting. Of course, the Venusaur coming out for Seiyu. But for me, I'm looking at Desu, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a double egg build. But Helping Hand and Safeguard did just get buffs, Kanashi. Maybe.
Yeah. I've played a lot of Blissey in my time. I love running Helping Hand Safeguard in a team that has a lot of crowd control. Because one, it's just like, okay, I'll just walk through your entire team. You can't do anything. I'm untouchable. But at the same time, like, you can give your team a lot of space to work with. Like, if you put Safeguard Helping Hand on that tree in order to get to the back line, that is going to be a lot to deal with. So that is something that we have to keep in mind as we continue on with this game. How well are these teams going to deal with each other's main front line versus how much damage can they deal from their back line?
It's going to be a strong back line if that Venusaur does go for Solar Beam alongside Toon Slims and Delphox. On the opposite end, I'm intrigued. I like where we're sort of sending Chandelure at the moment as this very versatile pick. Definitely left for later game, but players that have been running it, like we saw Mean Look last time out, right, instead of Poltergeist, and I absolutely love these little slight change-ups depending upon the player rather than what is more meta because it's so viable right now. Cramrant though, I mean, only we see you. I'm sure like Wonder Chef is seeing you as well. Absolutely loving what's being brought out here, but nonetheless, like I don't know if Cram is entirely at the moment. We'll see as we go into game number 3, and I'm going to be real here. I'm kind of a little biased towards Sucre Sucre. I love their kind of, dare I say, wild answers in that they have kept their heads. They clear picks they enjoy, but it's more how they're taking these team fights, which they're adapting very slightly, which is their answer.
Yeah, exactly. Like they play very patiently, and when they do find their opening, they take that small opening, they punch a hole through it. So they're doing a really good job at like playing at their own pace, finding out what they need to do, and making Nouns actually think about their compositions, forcing them to really think about some of these fights that they want to take.
Big push on this top half, of course, with both the Bulbasaur. Interesting enough, though, splitting the XP, of course, with that Delphox on the bottom half of that central area, taking the 1 buff each. Venusaur's not going to really get a massive amount from that red buff, unless they're going Petal Drain. Like, maybe? I doubt it, but maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide to go for here. Just maybe trying to chip a couple people with the Razor Leaf, but looks like the rest of the team trying to go in. Blissey dropping dangerously low, but going to be able to back out of that fight. Really well played by Nouns, just understanding, okay, yeah, the Chandeler's here. Let's just back up a little bit, get whatever experience we can. And Sucra, on the other hand, doesn't look like they want to back out. They want to keep the pressure up. Getting a couple scores in here might cost them their Eldegoss in the process, and that is exactly what's going to go down. So trading the Eldegoss for a couple of scores, Sucra might see that as a positive.
Really good predictions from Sucra, but that water gun from Gatlu to push the Lampent back into home goal really stopped them in their tracks. Might get a chance now to see what is being run by the Ivysaur currently right now, but no. All we got was the Razor Leaf, so you know that doesn't change into next level anyway.
Yeah, a couple of taps up there. The Blissey gonna drop, so another change of experience going towards some of these support Pokemon that definitely need it. And it looks like the Siege going back down. Sucra has the numbers here, trying to look to get some of these scores off. Want to go ahead and do that. Chandelure now online for Sucra as they continue to siege down here. Push trying to keep them away. It's not going to be enough. You start seeing them chase off the War Turtle. Going to drop down Blissey. Just trying to keep themselves alive, trying to heal up. But meanwhile, if Nouns Esports is not winning bottom, they are going to apply the pressure down. Or they're not winning top, they're going to put pressure down at bottom, trying to create a little bit of space, especially right before this basement Reggie spawns. It's going to help him out quite a bit.
It is indeed a Solar Beam Venusaur, and of course stacks from both sides have been earned. It's going to be interesting here is a dive Cramorant once again, and will they look to dive on this Regirock? Just get that steal. Not going to be allowed to get it. With both a Delphox and a Venusaur there, they have tons of skill.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need right now. It's just being able to lock down the point, make sure that they're all good. But even more damage coming out from the Blaziken. The rest of the team, they're just going to let the Regieleki walk in, break the goal. Really good damage numbers on their part. Just doing some good math.
First time Sucreo have actually had this sort of early game points lead. I'm not going to give them the level lead because, of course, Umbreon's still on 7, whereas the rest of Nouns at least are at 8, and it's a lot more even in these early stages. As we just tip into the mid-game after both Reggies have been taken, it's going to be interesting to see where these initial fights between the two squads really want to take place. And as Sucra push a little bit on this bottom goal, they backed up. Again, it's this patience once again, Kanashi, where they are not committing until they are happy, but that is a big commit right there.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and get stolen up there. Once again, another big push, taking the Chandelure out into the Fanciful Fireworks, saying, I have more firepower than you. Gonna go ahead and clean up the Umbreon as well. So, Nouns Esports doing a little bit of kidnapping, for a lack of a better term, with the Trevenant. Just going in, stealing some people, pushing them back, and bringing them to their team. So, really well done in terms of like taking away a lot of this positioning that Sucra wanted to play with. And just making it so tough for them to escape out of any of these engagements. So now just being able to grab a couple, take them home, cook them in the oven for a little bit, come back. That's exactly what they did. So well played by Nouns Esports. And yeah, now they just have to look at some of these objectives heading into the 4-minute mark.
In the background, whilst that was all going down, Blastoise and Blaziken were both contesting a lot of the same farm, and Blastoise seems to have got the best of it, currently at level 11. Blaziken still at 9, and that level 9 is going to hurt so much, hence why they're being left alone for the Regieleki. Try and take that, whilst the rest of the team fights down south for the Reggie steal. That's going to be a big attack, and special attack buff for them if they can get it. Can't crash alongside the fanciful fireworks. This Eldegoss has gone super deep, and well, they might just get punished as the Venusaur wants to remove them and does exactly that.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to do, is pinch them off and make sure that they can't rotate out, but Umbreon's still surviving with a sliver of HP. We'll see if they can, a good dash, but the Blastoise coming on through, the damage, the Midnight Prance going to be able to get them out of that certain engagement, but now it's Esports having a lot more pressure here. 3 of them still here, trying to keep the dream alive, but the Registeel's going to go down instead. Now it's Esports taking control of this game number 3 at the moment.
I didn't even notice the Blastoise running across the entire central area to get the sort of invade, you could argue, that little gank into the opposite side of Sakurai Sukra. In the backlines, of course, Regieleki does go the way of Sakurai Sukra, with Blaziken taking that. Blastoise can handle that on their own. They're happy. Now Sakurai Sukra need to make sure they get a lot of the farm and hammer this bottom goal. We want it gone in the final moments just to give themselves a nice point advantage, and then they can be a little bit more clever and less, dare I say, worried about the Ray.
Yeah, and they just need to score a little bit down here at bottom, just to give them a little bit of cushioning so they don't feel like this is a runaway coming out from Nouns Esports. So Sukra trying to play it nice and safe at the moment, possibly dropping pretty low. Chandelure also down to like quarter HP, might have to back out, but Eldegoss definitely showing themselves up here, just trying to get a little bit of information with the Umbreon tanking a lot of the hits coming through and trying to top them off. Eldegoss gonna get out of there, costing them their Umbreon's life. So gonna go ahead and get that reset. It looks like both of them have been reset completely. Level 10s at the lowest for Sakurai Sukra. Meanwhile, now Esports touching on to that 11 and 13 mark. So a lot to keep in mind here.
5 seconds until rain. It's looking like Nouns want to get a couple of late second goals, a few scores. Venusaur, though, has fallen to Blaziken. That is an absolutely massive pick. Delphox has to find a little secondary route out. Blastoise to knock everyone up with his Hydro Typhoon. Have they just caught out? Who is this down in the bottom grass? I cannot see it. Up on the top half, though, Delphox using the fanciful fireworks. It was Chandelure that got caught out. And now Sakurai Sukra and Nouns don't really know who's going to get this Ray. They perhaps back up and try and reset. No, Umbreon's just been caught out. It was the Blizzard to get the final hit. Cramran only wanting those final moments to get a big, what would have been 96, but gets caught. Blastoise, Gatlu going to get 100 on the top. That does put Nouns in the lead, but there's still 1:10 left to go.
Yeah, these coin flip games are taking years off my life. I'm not gonna lie, Bacon. So we just have some of these scraps so messy. There's a Verdant Anger right over the top, going to be able to at least take out one. And now you start seeing the rest of the team starting to collapse on the position of the Venusaur. And now the teams are starting to get a little bit desperate. You see the Blazing Vortex trying to go ahead and chase down this Umbreon, giving them a little bit of a heads up of where they're positioned at. Gonna get spun up here, but now even more of the dunks. The tree coming in, getting that dunk, trying to nail it in for Nouns Esports. 32 seconds remaining. Sakurai Sukra has to do something about this Ray, but they're already down a couple players. They need to make it quick.
Well, and Nouns can protect their goals. Yeah, both teams know what's up. It is done and dusted. Oh, Toon Slim. That's got to be a red card right there. You know, and he was just vibing with his warrior friend, Gatlu, and you just come and straight up remove them? No.
Yeah, they were trying to do a conga line. Didn't end up happening. The stagger was not there. And Nouns Esports going to go ahead and clean things up here, taking game number 2 and 3. Punch their ticket to the finals.
Sakurai Sukra made their way to main event last time around through the last chance qualifiers, and unfortunately They've got to try and do it once again as they have been knocked out of the second EU qualifier. They'll return on Saturday, I am sure, to try and get their spot into Sunday. For Nouns, though, they will be moving on into the finals today. Hog Riders have been waiting ever so patiently to the side after taking down Mumsler Coach. Hog Riders, for everyone that's not in the know, that is Gekakami, Chelvin, Sixties, Hog Rider, of course, and Snow. So, wow, that's a pretty stacked squad if I've ever seen one, Kanashi.
Yeah, and they have to go up against the powerhouse, which is Nouns Esports, heading into the grand final. So a lot to keep in mind for our games later on in the day. But as for this match, you know, it felt like a lot of the same stuff. A lot of these fights were back and forward, and then Ray shows up. Nobody knows what's going on, and we just pray that we can at least like look at something and maybe make sense of it.
That last game, though, you could definitely see Nouns were in serious mode, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have to bring that serious mode straight out the gates of the final. So, folks, go now. Get your drink. Get whatever snack you're munching on, whether it be popcorn, crisps. Don't matter. You got 5 minutes of break on the opposite side. We're back with the finals. See you there.
Hello and welcome to Unite Battle Hub May Elite Tour EU qualifier number 2. I am joined by Bacon and Spartan Tano. We have our grand finals coming up right now between Nouns Esports and Hog Riders. We haven't seen Hog Riders all day, but Bacon, let's start with you. We just watched the previous match with Nouns Esports. What do you think that they can do to show up here in the finals?
Nouns, they've just got to play serious. It is simply as that. Nouns with their tournaments, unless they literally on their last life, like to just have fun with it. Understandable. But, you know, you don't need to go to game 3 every single time, guys. You can just turn up and be like, what is our strongest strat? Let's play with that instead of, you know what would be fun right now? Let's just go Mr. Mime every single game because that's what we're fancying. We're just going to go run Confusion Wolves. That's all it is, you know?
That made my brain hurt. There's too much stuff going on, and the last 2 minutes definitely made Kanashi's hair turn gray. So yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Tano, what did you think of the last match that we saw, and what could you expect from this finals here?
Wow, I mean, I do want to say that like Secure put up a really good fight during those games. It was such an exciting game due to that. I think Nouns are going to want to come out swinging in this final, just come out straight swinging. So we haven't seen Hog Riders today, but I'm really excited to see what they're gonna bring out. Are we going to see some interesting picks that we've not seen yet today, or will we just go the usual route of the strong metas with the strong defenders and the all-rounders that we've seen?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what the pick bans start to become, especially heading into the later part of the tournament. We want to see what everybody has in their back pockets and what they're most comfortable playing. So yeah, we have to keep an eye out for that. I don't have eyelids, so I can't shut my eyes, but we are ready to keep our eyes peeled for this game. Bacon, what is something that you want to see heading into this next match? Is there any Pokemon that that we've seen that have popped up, and what do you think has been working out quite well?
So I used the joke of Mr. Mime earlier. We haven't actually seen Mr. Mime yet today. It was just something left field. I don't think we want to really see Phalanx again because it's just too easily shut down at this level. Leafeon is always banned because Leafeon is just such a good early leveler, so neither side wants it. Hooper makes for an interesting band, however, because you're taking away one of the easiest sort of group up tools and then path swapping tools. So we're seeing a flex of what you can do with these supports. So Hooper I'd like to see banned. A support I'd love to be brought into the mix would actually be, and I know a lot of people are going to hate me for it, but Sableye. We've seen that in the past with Europe. Sableye really mixes up teams. Now I'm saying to Gatlu, you do not need to run the bloody Greedent. Come on, we're fine with that. But Sableye really does mix it up, especially that Unite move. Confuse everyone, send them back to base. I love it.
Yeah, you want to create havoc, be able to rotate around, and Hoopa does that quite well. We will see what Gatlu decides to pull out of the bag. He is one of those more flexible players. If anything, Spartan, what would you want to see coming out from Gatlu or anyone on either of these teams?
Gengar. No. So I'm a huge Gengar fan. But playing on with what Bacon just said, I think you're seeing a lot of Leafeon getting banned, but there's still a lot of EVs that are getting through. So I think something exciting like a Talonflame taking that speedster spot would be pretty fun with the Fly or even Brave Bird, but preferably Fly for the secure, but also the damage because it's pretty good.
Yeah, damage, just being able to swoop in there, having a lot of speed, a lot of aggressiveness. Those are two things that Talonflame brings, and I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to last pick it. When it does come down to this final pick and ban phase, we will see what they decide to ban out. 2 defenders, once again, Slowbro, Trevenant, and we have the Umbreon to go ahead and round things out. Leafeon off the table, no early beams. That's going to be the play. So what do we expect to see? What do you think of these bans overall, Bacon?
Removing the Trevenant really heightens the power of Blastoise as a pick, and of course seeing this right now when you're getting rid of one of the Pokemon that sort of stops you from going through your portals. They planned for this to be a Hooper first pick. Of course, on the opposite end, Crustle, there's always going to be a Rock Tomb Crustle. That's kind of just setting up a lot of flexibility, not only zoning out Pokemon, but then just being a beefy tank in the middle. Mix that with Sylveon, which can run both ways, whether it's Hyper Voice or the Sacred Fire. Both teams have gone for very standard, dare I say, safe starts. This will be where things change up for Hog Riders.
Yeah, they got the secure on the Blastoise to go ahead and open up things, and the Snorlax being the second pick, thought we were gonna get a little bit more damage going through, but still, once again, first time that we've seen from Hog Riders, but 2 defenders to really open up things, trying to have a big front line. What do you think about this overall, Tano?
A little bit gutted we didn't get the Charizard because I love the left field of that. But yeah, I mean, really strong front line is you're going up against Nouns. You know the capability that they've got. So I feel like playing it safe, get those rotations, and the defense is really strong. But we do have a Comfey and a Zoroark, and we know that is a really good pair in there.
Yeah, they let them have it again, so that's another tough one to deal with. But Hog Riders have 2 more picks. If they find a way to slow this up, that might be the way. They are going to go with the Mew, who that slipped all the way to last pick. I'm actually pretty surprised about that. And the Zeraora to go ahead and add things off. Gatlu going to go ahead and pick up the boys, the Spinny Boys, the Phalanx. That's the official name of the guys. Yeah, the little guys.
The Dinks and Donks.
Yeah, we don't have official names for them. They're just the dudes.
I call them the Chippy Chappers.
Exactly, that's all they do. But yeah, Hog Riders versus Downs Esports. I'm gonna go back to the pond and take a nap. I'm gonna let you guys handle the cast, and I hope you guys have a good cast.
Oh, I'm sure we are going to have a good cast, Kogashi. Thank you very much. Discharge, I think, is going to be the plan here for that Zeraora Tano against the Phalanx. But the Mew is an interesting one, especially when it makes for a pretty easy, pretty focused target from the Zoroark. Sorry, like that Mew's got to be careful. They're going to be running a little bit scared.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're kind of going to expect that, which would be an interesting way to play it. I'm really excited with the Zeraora pick. I love seeing those kind of picks thrown in there. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like they've got to be really difficult, like really conscious of that back line getting dived by that Zoroark. I think it's going to be really important for the front line to really concentrate on where that's coming in, what's going to happen with it. So, really, really interesting game. Looks like we're getting set up for here. Like, what more could you want out of this?
I do not know. If anything, I may call it that Nouns have got a very, very normal comp. You know, this is looking good. They are coming in looking serious on the opposite end. I like where Hog Riders started. You know, when you first picked that Hooper, getting the Blastoise and the Snorlax basically went, you know what, we're getting rid of the first 2 big Hooper counters by picking them for ourselves, and they can be standard into a lot of builds. That's great. The last 2, I don't really stand with the Zeraora. Maybe a Cypher would have done better there, but nonetheless, it's allowed them to run this Discharge or help against the Phalanx, because that thing scares me at the moment, because if it's just left uncontested.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you need to try and make sure doesn't happen, because that's when you can start to slightly lose a bit of a snowball there. We do have the Hooper and the Squirtle that are really oppressive in the lane. With a little bit of a handshake from the junglers crossing, we have one going top lane, one going bottom lane. Having said that, Zoroark is feeling like, nah, I think I'm going to come to this top lane too.
It was a great bait. We'll have to find out then. 5 seconds until the top birds, and everyone will realize where each other is. The Comfey's got 2 big targets to jump onto. It's going to be the Zoroark first off, the slash through, but no, not really that much of a fight with each other. There was the focus on the birds, and that went entirely the way of Nouns.
That was the most anticlimactic fight I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
It just, everybody just, we've got the bees, and then they kind of just went their separate ways. Really exciting. I mean, we have the Crustle up and going down in this bottom lane here, though, Bacon, so they're going to be really oppressive down here. We have Toonslane with the Mystical Fire. They do pick up the Snorlax there, so really good KO, but Mew is quite difficult to defend against, so it looks like they're just going to go their separate ways here, whilst that Comfey helps the Zoroark secure their jungle.
Of course, Mystical Fire on the Sylveon does make it a little bit bulkier, and it is a fairly bulky evolution. Of course, probably the bulkiest without including Umbreon, and you can have a little bit more flexibility there. You look at the rest of the squad of Nouns, they are fairly sustainable. It means that the Comfey's allowed that freedom of just jumping onto the Zoroark, and if they want the Phalanx, the Zoroark can't take it down though. The discharge of the Zeraora, but there's the Phalanx coming in to clean up. Sylveon's got to run. The Comfey detaches. Will they be able to get back on? No, they latch onto the Crustle.
Wow, some huge KOs coming in there, chat. The Comfey sitting on this Crustle means it is going to be way too beefy for the Adesu and the Snorlax to take out there. So they're going to go their separate ways. We have these 720s coming up at the moment. We have 3 from Nouns Esports down here with 2 from Hog Riders. It looks like Zoroark and the Crustle are going to pick up most of those Vs there. So the XP level-wise is pretty balanced, but Nouns Esports managed to grab all of that down there.
The issue for me as well, that Zeraora is going to kind of peter out towards that end game. You know, when you're starting to get to that raid fight, it's not as impactful. I know Zoroark isn't as big in those final moments, but in those one-on-ones at the raid fight, it is still absolutely massive, especially with the Comfey on top of it. Snorlax somehow is able to survive through everything, and is that a trick, Cooper?
Oh my god, yes! That is exciting to see.
Big change-ups, and well, oh, Reggie's still going in the way of Nouns. They were able to pick up during the fray. Hooper is gone as well. And this bomb goal going in favor of Nouns. They are trying to get their stacks in. You can see the Zoroark here. Comfey's getting bored, probably a little bit impatient, but nonetheless on that top path where the rest of the Nouns are now going to change on over to. You can see there is a fight, a little bit of a gathering building up as Hog Riders are actually trying to get a scope, maybe even get a little bit of a snipe onto these Pokemon in the central area, but that's good coverage from Chelvin, seeing that 60s was in a little bit of a spot there.
Yeah, I mean, and now Phalanx, unfortunately, is just up here by themselves. The Zoroark's coming in with the Comfey. Phalanx managing to run away there, chippy-chappering their way out of there. Zoroark diving in. They don't have the Comfey on them at the moment because they needed to get healing on the Phalanx, but they have managed to disengage just at the right time there. We have a Unite move coming in from the Zeraora. They pick up the Phalanx with a huge dash in with that discharge there. That's going to be a huge level imbalance on this top lane at the moment.
Well, of course, with this Volt Switch, the Zeraora is applying that damage to every single one of the Phalanx little dudes that they run over. The discharge as well, stacking on multiple members. So this is a great little counter there to the rest of the squad. Zeraora can be a little bit, dare I say, ineffective with, but as long as they're able to keep a level advantage, they should be fine, saying that they cannot handle multiple members of Nouns now stacking up on them. Snorlax is going to pull off the power nap and will look to try and stop as many goals being scored as possible, but it is 1 against 4 there.
Yeah, that was a shame. I mean, Snorlax going in with that power nap. They ended up having a bit of a nightmare. They get taken out. They've broken the goal now. Have Nouns. They are going really aggressive here, though. The wall blocking off the Blastoise from being able to get back on that T2. Zeraora here having a bit of a fight with the Sylveon, but they do go down. But that does allow Nouns to go up to this Regieleki and get a nice rip on this here, baby.
Oh, Phalanx does take it down in the final moments. Bottom Reggie is back up once again. Crustle's got great eyes to zone that out. The rest of Nouns know not to push their luck. But if they let the Regieleki go on its way, well, the Blastoise will have to deal with it. However, Zeraora is sticking about. Phalanx is sticking about as well. Just keep eyes on that situation. Realistically, now should have attacked this Regirock a little bit earlier, but instead they're waiting, trying to get numbers, getting that farm, and then they'll look for a very important pick.
Yeah, I mean, we see the Phalanx staying up in that top lane to defend while this is all going on down here. We do see a huge slam coming in there from the Snorlax, and we have the Unite move coming from the Crustle, enough to distract 3 of them over on the side of Hog Riders there. Zoroark is just sat that back there. They look like they're going to try and come in, take some damage. Huge Hydro Typhoon coming in from Blastoise. They do pick it up with the beam from the Mew, Bacon. What a secure from Mew there.
Well, 48 in the background by the Phalanx as well. Now Hog Riders can. They just crash this bottom tier 1 goal. There's a mighty defense being put up by Nouns. Mew forced to pop its Unite move. This Phalanx does step into the fray, and we know what the Zeraora can do. Discharge is going to get rid of the Zoroark. Now the follow-up. Can they get rid of Comfey? No! Comfey just latches onto the Crustle in time. Phalanx with his Unite move, not enough. And Zeraora will get rid of them, but that is a mighty, mighty prance from This Sylveon looking to just clean up, sweep away the mess that is left there. They have just come out absolute MVP of that battle.
Wow, I mean, any time that Nouns look like they are on the back foot, they are coming out with it, with the Unite moves that they're popping at the right time. They're coming out with it in such a good situation. It's 0 points to 250 points right now, Bacon. Hog Riders need to do something here to get on that scoreboard.
Frolic came in clutch in the last fight. Should be able to be charged up once again for the Ray fight, but this is a big engage right now. Of course, everyone will respawn in time, but it's all about that XP. A massive, massive win right now for Nouns to get a boost, if you will. Zoroark's on level 14 and still wants to get rid of Gekakami.
And we are seeing a little bit of a rip-up here on the Regieleki coming in from Nouns, which is a really good shot. They're going to be able to get that, which is going to go down to that T2. They're going to have to just let that go in the Hog Riders because this Rayquaza is about to spawn, and you have a level 14 Zoroark with a Comfey on it. That is going to be a hell of a thing to deal with. And we see the 50 dunk going in from the Sylveon. A nice cheeky back cap there. Are they going to be able to get back in time to engage in this fight? We see the Zeraora trying to push the Phalanx away, but it looks like they're going to get pincer movement at the moment. Instead, they're just waiting to take that right opportunity to get stuck into a fight here.
They're utilizing that Sylveon Toon Slim as a bait, and then the Phalanx can come in for a flank. Zoroark knows they don't want to go in too deep. They are still squishy because they don't have the Comfey on them. That's currently sitting on the cross. We're trying to keep them up. Oh, both of the backlines have been caught. Fairy Frolic having to be utilized. They do catch the Blastoise, however. Zoroark waiting in the grass, looking to see if they can jump on them, but no, instead Hog Riders have found Zoroark, wanting to throw a couple of Electro Balls their way. Power Nap on top of the Crustle. They've been caught. Comfey does jump onto the Zoroark, utilizing their fanciful field so that they can just give a little bit of heal back to themselves, slow down the opposition, but it doesn't work. Phalanx is going to drop as well. Hog Riders have got this absolutely perfect as they take down Madesu. Toon Slim, the only one left up because they just respawned in. Can they run to Ray in time? Can they get a mystical fire off? The answer is no. Mew secures it, and that should be Hog Riders taking game number 1. But however, look at the score. 394 on the doors. It's going to take some mighty maths to be able to overcome that. They just reached 240. Can they get any more? Especially when the Crustle was forcing them off.
I mean, and this is the difficulty of having those T1s up at the Rayquaza fight though, Bacon, because it is easier to get those scores. We are now at 340 to 394. There's a huge defense coming in here from Nouns Esports up on this T2, but they do manage to get the 82 points in. That's enough to get them in the lead there, Bacon. Hog Riders, huge Hydro Typhoon coming in now. There is not enough that Nouns can do. Hog Riders with a massive take on that fight at Rayquaza and managing to get enough points, with cheeky little 6 coming in there from 6s to finish that game off. Wow.
Oh man, this is going to be a good final. You know it. When you got the likes and Nouns there, and then a team that can push them to the limit. Hog Riders take a bow for keeping your heads during those final fights. We know going into it, they had all the answers to every single Pokemon that Nouns is bringing in. A lot of people would look towards Nachos on that Zeraora and think, that's a little bit of an odd speedster choice right now, but like we said, Discharge is perfect to be in the mix. And then of course a lot of movement with Volt Switch, so great little adjustments, good little mixtures. I also like the safety picks of Blastoise and Snorlax in the early stages because that also secures their Hooper a little bit. Running trick, however, here, Tano, that for me was kind of inspired, and we were not expecting that. Definitely given some of those extra little, dare I say, buffs, which could have just teetered over. You can see the it currently being applied to Zeraora in the fight. And then, yeah, the rest of the team just following suit. But this was more Nouns' group up tactics, which showed their strengths. And just in those final moments, they maybe got a little bit too big for their own boots.
Yeah, it definitely felt that way because, as we watched the game, it seems like whenever Nouns were on the back foot, they did come back swinging, and it was going to go all their way. But wow, I mean, that was an incredible Rayquaza fight. It did seem like, they managed to grab the Nouns team there, and they would just rip the Rayquaza, but they didn't score a single point up until that point, though, Bacon, and that just shows how you can still win this game. Like, you keep your head in the game. If you get your head in the game and just stay there, you can win a game still. I mean, going from 370 points down to winning a game. Wow. I mean, yeah, 394 as we can see here, coming into 1 minute left in this game chart. If I showed you this screenshot, like if I put that on Twitter and was like, who wins this game, you would never have guessed it was Hog Riders. So, I mean, what a game of Pokemon Unite.
Is the saying we cannot get away from. When there is a Ray, there is a way. 400 points was needed. That's 4 big hundo burgers. And, well, we might have not flipped those patties, all of them anyway. We did get the side orders in the mix and were able to make up enough. Hog Riders go in to game number 2 in that driver's seat. But where do they start? Do Nouns want first pick this time? Because we've seen throughout tonight, second pick generally being the stronger, but Hog Riders have just defied that.
Yeah, they have, and the Hooper really was doing bits for them. So, yeah, I don't know what you take with this, but we do know that Nouns is very dangerous when they have lost their game 1 and they come into game 2. They are a very dangerous team to go up against. So it's going to be interesting to see how they change their tactics. But if I was Hog Riders, I would just try and stick to your guns as much as you can, because you're coming up against a team that has just lost against you, and yeah, they're coming out swinging.
Okay, I'm thinking in this. I'm loving, dare I say, Snow's kind of like, I don't want to say rise to form or whatever, because they've been fantastic. But it was back, I remember during UEC where we were going, why is Snow not playing on these big sort of clubs? I'm gonna because that was a national competition, right? Why is Snow just not playing these big events? Because they are absolutely goated as that support player, and we're seeing a sort of reprisal the support role being such a fantastic role within Europe right now. I mean, just take a look at, say, where and there just absolute plays last Thursday for the first qualifier, and just suddenly seeing how support really does change up how the game is played, and even going something as simple as just running trick on a Hooper throws the opposition just through a loop.
Yeah, and that's it though. When these things come out that are so left field and you're like, wait, why are they running that? And then you've got to try and work out why you think they're running that and see if you can counter it with what's currently happening in the game. It's such a smart way to really throw the other team off for a loop. But we're coming into this ban phase here into this game too. It looks like we're going to see a Gyarados ban off the bat from Nouns Esport there, which is pretty interesting. It is a very strong mon at the moment, but we haven't seen it banned yet tonight, Bacon, have we?
No, we have not. I think this is just a case of they're currently thinking up. They want to see what their opponents are going to bring up. What do they ban? Understandable. Like, it's a little bit weird, don't get me wrong, that, Nouns ran the Sylveon last time, want to ban it now. Leafeon, as we said, is always a first ban from that right-hand second pick team. Trevenant as well. We know how much Nouns like Trevenant, and it would have probably been a first pick for them. Bruv going to be picking up the first Pokemon, and it is going to be Umbreon on that. Well, I was about to say support defender role. Looking at that, maybe, you could be running a Healing Wish Umbreon. It is Nouns. They can run anything.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Wish does an insane amount of healing. We are seeing, it looks like the Blastoise from the side of Hog Riders, as well as that Crustle getting locked in. Probably, oh no, we see the Hooper getting picked, getting a little bit teased there from Hog Riders, but the Slowbro as well, which, I mean, with that all alongside, the Hooper rotations, that's a really strong pick to be taken there.
Okay. So, they've left Snorlax on the table. Blastoise as well is great, but we now know that they might not run Hooper Poles. So do they run Trick again? Like, what's the thought? I'm liking this as their support choice. Egg Bomb, Blissey will be perfect going up against the Hooper. Blastoise is just nice and well-rounded. Nouns need to wait here. They go, right, we've already got 2 supports. Blastoise can be a little bit more of an all-rounder. We want to see which way Hog Riders are running with their 3rd and 4th pick. Then we can decide and really shape our team with the 4th and 5th ourselves.
Yeah, and it does look like we're getting two strong front lines from both teams here. That Lapras getting picked, whilst it is usually on a bit more of the lower end of defender picks, but it is still very viable in majority of comps. And I do like the fact that they're going for the two defender comp here because they've got that Chandelier, which does a lot of damage, but it needs to make sure that it doesn't get caught out. So those picks there, really smart. And then the Blaziken and the Delphox there though, Bacon. So Delphox with those fire spins, so strong, so strong.
I'm going to be intrigued to see whether we see Ice Beam or Bubble Beam from that Lapras there, but Nacho's running Cinderace? Like, I mean, okay, just standard rip, sure, that's fine, but like this whole team is kind of weird.
I would have expected maybe a bit more of a ranged character.
I was thinking Desi right there. You
yeah,
know, like
that makes sense. I mean, hey, Cinderace is an interesting pick, a hell of an interesting pick. It's going to be exciting. They've obviously got a plan. So, you know, it's going to be exciting to see how they go with that plan. But with the Chandelier and the Cinderace, that is a huge amount of damage. If you manage to get those levels coming into the Rayquaza and you're still within that game, Bacon, that they're probably two of the strongest ones for damage at that fight.
Just quick little thinker as well, just whilst on it. Espeon didn't get any nerfs during the last patch, right? Like, so where is Espeon just kind of fallen off to? Like, we're seeing Sylveon Mystical Fire sort of step up, but yeah, Espeon, which we saw for the longest time, just isn't really a want anymore, is it?
So Espeon's stored power got hit in the yeah. So, and I think since that, we just haven't seen much of Espeon. Like, I feel like, and I play a lot of Espeon myself, and I feel like it is more in a weaker position now than someone like Sylveon, where both builds are so strong. So. It is really interesting to see, but as we go into this game here, we are seeing the usual sort of situations that go on. We do see the Cinderace in that jungle, so at least it's not a lane Cinderace there, Bacon, because nobody needs that.
No, you want that up as quick as possible. I was a little bit surprised it might have not been a shared first jungle area, you know, between them and the Litwick, because, you know, you kind of want both up, but I'm pretty sure this will be, you know, the Cinderace takes the first sweep, and then Litwick, which you would hope be a Lampent by the second phase, will then come up and take off that. Odessa has been forced out into the central area by both Chelvin and Sixies, so, you know, just making sure that Blissey is feeling hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, a Lapras in your lane is such a daunting character to have there. So, you know, it's a strong, oppressive man. It was interesting to see that Luba didn't go for the red buff. We do see that a lot, but they've managed to get the reboot up and running there. We still have the Litwick and the Slowpoke down here, so they're going to try and get this Evo from these Vs, but of course they have a Combusken, which does drop a lot of damage. Is the Slowpoke going to go down here? They do have the Umbreon, which is up and ready to roll. Is it Mean Look? I didn't quite see what it was going to be running there.
No, nor did I. Chelvin, of course, on the Lapras. It's a nice early game Pokemon. Near enough online straight away. But yeah, look at this. So cheeky from Nachos. Looking to steal away the buffs. Don't get it, however. Sixies on the Hooper. Snatches that with a final basic attack.
Yeah, and again, we see the trick again, Bacon. It's really exciting to see. It enables the reboot to get out of there, but we do have this Lampent up and running now. Are they going to be able to get up? Oh, they're going to get picked up by the Umbreon, though. It's so weak. No. And he just got away with 1 HP in a dream.
I haven't seen Mean Look either as well. Is it foul play?
It did look like it. It did. Wow.
Okay. Seiyu has stayed around in that central area for ages. They're just not getting the damage out yet. Cinderace finally turned up. He is running Pyroble, of course, getting rid of Desu on the Blissey, and now trying to steal away some of those central area buffs once again. But both sides realistically holding up their own. I do like this from Hog Riders, though. Their prioritization gets Cinderace up to level 9, and now it is looking something fierce.
It really is. I mean, you have level 6 on the side of Now's Esports, and that's the thing with Cinderace, though. Once it manages to get that level advantage, it can start to snowball. It does so much damage. It's managing to pick up the Umbreon there, and now they're going to be able to break this goal with a pretty tasty overcap if that's what they want to go do.
I'm a little bit worried though, because if this Cinderace, because it is squishy, gets caught out. Look at Toon Slim just, yep, let the Cinderace walk past. I do not want any of this beef right now. Interesting that Nouns had just gone straight in on the Regieleki, seeing that they can't contest the bottom 5 levels. They're trying to get a very quick rip on the Alecki, and this was a great adjustment from Hog Riders to send up. Of course, they've been able to catch the Regieleki, didn't steal it, but they're going to try and stop it from scoring in on that bottom path. Well, that was well done by Hog Riders. Stick at it, finish off the Regis, and now they've pivoted up here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not, you know, going on the side of Hog Riders, I feel like they've got what they want out of that. They may have not secured that Lecky, but they can certainly defend against it. They've got a lot of damage to the side of Nouns Esports. They've had to back up. I must say, I'm impressed with the Cinderace being able to keep at that range with the trick coming in from the Hooper. It's working a hell of a treat, but Nouns just need to get those levels. We've just seen level 9 coming up for Blaziken, which means they're going to be able to drop a lot of damage with the Unite move that they're going to be able to constantly swap between dropping that damage. It is such an advantage to have at this moment, Bacon.
Looking to just catch that Blaziken, not going to happen. However, do you notice in that last fight as well, the Delphox was going and stealing the jungle of Hog Riders, and then that just got caught by the Chandelure straight away. Like, Hog Riders have got such great vision over this game right now.
Yeah, the macro is really good. It's really great to see, you know, how they're rotating on these objectives, how they're pushing. I mean, we see the Slowbro still defending that bottom lane there. We have the rest of the team up here because they know that they can get pretty aggressive here. You have the Chandelure up and running. You have the Unite moves for a lot of your Mons here. So you're kind of working out where you want to press next, and they look like they want to get aggressive with that.
Regieleki will be the first Reggie to join us by, what's that, 6, 7 seconds? 7. So it's going to be a very awkward kind of game. Lapras now as well, with Lapras Express, has got a nice, not only engage tool, but a way to get a teammate into the fray if they do need to swap down towards that bottom half. Of course, you've also got Hooper there. There is Lapras Express, and it has picked up the Cinderace. I do not know what the plan is here, but let's go.
Lapras is like, right, Cinder, you're coming with me, we're doing it. And they are doing a good job, but it's on the T1. They are defending this T1 so well. And now Esports, with the damage coming in from the Delphox and the Blaziken there, they're just going to have to back up a Hog Riders. Lapras nearly getting that damage taken there, but I mean, it just seems like both teams are handshaking at the moment, Bacon, while they're just trying to decide what objectives to be going for.
Yeah, I don't know what the miscommunication was there. Like, Lapras picking up Cinderace was weird, but hey, like, they're still just trying to battle out. We need a pick. That's a nice little play from Gatlu to force the Slowbro to the opposite end. There is the Midnight Branch from the Umbreon, looking to remove any shields if anyone wants to pop. And Blaziken, though, is the first one to go down. That's a big advantage to Hog Riders, who have now got the Umbreon and Delphox as well. And they will look to crash this top tier 1 goal. They'll probably then look to rip that Regieleki. Then they'll transition on over to the bottom path. Already transitioning, actually. Both of the defenders on their way to try and not only defend that bottom goal, but also defend that Reggie. Hooper has pushed up, got great sight over the Blissey and that tier 2 goal. Those are the two that are leaving behind. Let's really hammer it hard on this bottom path.
Yeah, they've realized that they have the time for the Cinderace to rotate through the jungle and pick up that jungle. Now they're going to be able to come down here and rip. Slowbro doing some zoning here. It's the Umbreon and the Blastoise. They know that's the only one. Hooper with a really good score there to draw people away from that objective set. The Chandelure picks up not only the steal there, but they do manage to pick up the Blastoise with the Slowbro secure. So, I mean, this is a crazy game to see. We've got 3 minutes left in this game, Bacon. We have a level 13 Cinderace already. That is massive for coming into this Rayquaza fight that's about to come up.
I mean, Nouns were up by more points in game number 1, so it's still up there. Who knows right now? Everything is upside down. The world is madness. The floor is lava, and I am just enjoying it all while sipping. I've finished my squash. Oh no.
Oh no, I mean, this is not the time for you to go get more. We have 30 seconds out from Rayquaza, and as you say, if there's a Ray, there's a way. There's only less than 200 points, and the T1s are still up for Hog Riders, and we know the danger that can pose with a Rayquaza popping up, but level 14 on the Cinderace is pretty strong. They're going to have a very quick attack speed. On the other side, though, level 13 on the Delphox and level 13 on that Blaziken with those plus moves up, Bacon.
Relic in chat calling that Nachos will be the Season 4 Rookie of the Year. Buddy, that is as a cycle is known that water is wet. Nachos has been cracked for ages in the EU scene. And yes, we're seeing it now. A scary threat, probably at the top of the transfer list. Every team want to pick them up. But these other tournaments that you got to prove yourselves in. Nouns have proved themselves many a time in the past, and you can see that level-headedness. They're not wanting to engage too deep. The Umbron with a foul play in, but they've got Wish and they've got a Bliss here. Just keep themselves topped up. Ray's been put to a very dangerous level. Can they get a secure? Yes, Nouns can via Toon Slim on the Delphox. They've taken down the Lapras. They've taken down the Slowbro, and now they'll look to take down the Hog Riders.
Wow, what an engage there. They picked the right time to engage. They got that Delphox Unite move down on that objective, which is just going to do that tick damage. We're getting some Hundo Burgers coming in now, though, Bacon. This looks like it is going to be going to the way of Nouns Esports, but we do have a minute left, and there is still some points on this board. There is not too much in this.
Oh, Lapras gets a speed boost after Ice Beam, but I mean, these eggs with their little stun, Adesu is just, it's literally putting your hand up to the little kid, right? Like, nah, you can't get anywhere near here.
The way Lapras tried to dodge that one, but still ended up getting the CC. Yeah, we have a bit of a push coming down here, but of course, Delphox's Unite move is up in about every 20 seconds of the game at this rate, so they are going to be able to defend that there. They're just going to be able to zone out these mons down here. You've got a Cinderace, you've got a Chandelure, which are not very strong in regards to the health that they have, but we do have a pickup on the Chandelure there from the Blaziken. Is that going to be enough? I mean, there's not enough points going in here from the Slowbro. Huge Hydro Typhoon and a huge Surf coming in there to block them off from the Blastoise there. Huge. And there's 7 seconds left in this game, Bacon. What a way to win that game from Nouns Esports.
What a cleanup at the end. What a ingenious raid fight, kind of defying all expectations by just ripping it straight away, essentially. Nouns have really flipped it on its head, and as we saw in the last game, yep, right up until Ray, the first 8 minutes just don't matter realistically. They do, you've got to set yourselves up, but you can always turn it around as long as you're within, 2 levels and make smart decisions at that Ray fight. Nouns take game number 2. Hog Riders, while still looking good and arguably the better team for the first 8 minutes, will be going into game number 3 pretty mad here, Tano.
Yeah, they really will. But to be fair, it's a little bit of that karma coming back. They managed to win the Rayquaza on the first game and score those points to get that win. Nouns have just come and done that in the second game. What is very exciting here, Bacon, is it seems like these two teams are going toe to toe, and they're doing a hell of a good job about it. So, coming into this third game, it's going to be interesting to see how both teams go because, first game, it felt like it was going all Nouns. Second game, it felt like it was going all Hog Riders. So, third game, what's it going to be?
Well, it's going to be after this break, folks. Get in Twitch chat right now. Type Unite. That's going to enter you into the giveaway. I'm actually just quickly checking what that giveaway is for. We have got Miraidon licenses. So if you haven't unlocked the Dragon, well, now is the time, especially with the current in-game event. But for us, we need to quickly head on over to a break for a couple more minutes. We'll be back on the on the other side with the last game of the night. And welcome back, folks. Going into game number 3 very shortly. Players are ready. We're ready, aren't we, Tano? But I don't think I'm ready to be so stressed that Ray once again. But you know the players will, well, probably do it again, won't they?
No, you know what? I reckon this game is going to be even all the way through, and nobody's going to get Rayquaza Bacon. I reckon it's going to be back caps. I'm calling it now.
Ooh. You know, I can see it. We saw it a little bit earlier, at least not on stream, but I was looking at, you know, during that first match of the day when I wasn't casting, I was watching Gatlu's stream. They had been going for a couple back cap games, so who knows, they could bring it out here. And it is that kind of difference which might just throw Hog Riders through a loop, right? If they come in with the plan not to need it. But Hog Riders have been putting up a mighty fierce early game in game number 2, so they're probably ready. Nachos is hovering the band for the Zero Aura? What? Still what?
A Clefable? That's interesting. I feel like they were just trying to tease you and then accidentally went on Clefable. I mean, hey, it is a good healer to be fair, but usually you don't see a Clefable ban. Obviously, the Leafeon ban is, you know, it's standard at this rate. But a Sableye?
What are they running here? Come right, I'm trying to think in my head. Sableye is weird because I'm like, are they trying to get rid of gravity? You know, on the Clefable, like maybe that's an idea, or are they predicting that there might be a, you know, a Brawl Ball comp on the opposite end? We'll have to find out. I know Serena is somewhat okay to run. Okay, yeah, Desi took a step off. I was about to say, you can run them in solo queue right now. Still not great, but you can. We're back to normality on our picks, at least. It's this pretty standard for each side.
Yeah, I mean, we went into an alternate universe for a little bit there, but we're back now. Blastoise getting picked up there by Chelvin, so they're going for that sort of double tank. Well, I say tank, it is an Umbreon, so, but also the Eldegoss. So really safe picks there coming in from Hog Riders, despite the bans. What are we going to see here from Nouns Esports? I saw a little bit of a Talonflame from Gatlu there.
Yeah, that's been and the Mr. Mime hovering it again for the Wolves. It's a Comfey. It's going to be the Blaziken. Okay, this is going to be very spicy because that leaves a lot. We saw the T-Tart earlier, but they can also run, you know, if they want the Zoroark once again. I doubt it because, of course, the Umbreon and, of course, the Blastoise. But it's no.
I'm sorry, I just got very excited. We see Gengar locked in by Nachos. And an A9 Bacon. Like, I mean, the A9 is still strong. They do really good CC. Great pick. The Gengar's interesting. It is interesting because they've got a Trevenant that's pretty strong. They've got a Blaziken is very tough for a Gengar to deal with. And, you know, even a... I've completely blanked on the name of the little Greedent there. There we go.
Yeah.
The Greedent is pretty strong too. So it seems like this Gengar's going to have a bit of difficulty, especially with a Comfey, of picking up these people. Do you reckon we're going to see more of a Hex than a Dream Eater?
Well, so that's been the thing recently, right? Because we've seen Gengar weirdly make its way into comp. Like, not as a good pick, but just people have been running it. And I'm there in my head going, you lot should be running Hex just because you can do a little bit more. Because, Gengar's going to get, like, just straight, it's gone. It's too squishy for anything. But at least Hex might be able to do a little bit of damage to multiple targets. And, of course, you can jump in from way further with Sludge Bomb. Here, I still think it's a very, very bad pick. Gengar is in much need of a rework, but like I don't know. Maybe there was a handshake. Like Gatlu's like, I want to play Greedent. If you pick a stupid pick, I'll play Greedent, and I think that might have been happening here because I don't get Gengar. So I love the Pokemon. It's great to run in solo queue, so much fun, but in comp, it just falls so flat on its face.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bacon. The thing is, though, like if Nouns had at that point some squishy mons for it to at least do something too, fair enough. But like they are very strong on the side of Nouns in regards to like a health pool on a lot of those mons, and you have the Comfey that does the healing. I mean, we don't know if Adesu's going to run Trick or the Hooper portals, but again, that's even more healing. So it's a very interesting pick. Luckily, they have taken it to the jungle, so we're not going to get any lane Gengar going on. But of course, with that Greedent and the Comfey, they are a pain in the butt from the get-go. That is what that mon is all about.
Yeah, Gengar is so useless up to level 5. Like, it needs that first move. They have found the Scooble and absolutely tried to just put Gatlu down, but no, they somehow just survive. So does the Comfey. They now have a Combuskin. Here's Haunter. What are they running? Is going to be Dream Eater. Oh.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Let's see. It is Nachos. Nachos, they showed that these picks that you don't expect, they can absolutely cook on them. So let's see where we go with that. We do have the Eldegoss and the Squirtle up here. Rotating into this top lane with those up here is a really good shout because they're really strong in the lane at the levels that they're at. So it means that Haunter has a bit more room to be able to get XP, get some KO secured. But at the moment, I feel like they need to rotate out of here and go get the rest of that jungle. They need to get to Gengar as quick as they can.
Well, they just run something absolutely wild. Like, because you got to think at the moment they could be going to steal, their opponent's jungle because, well, Haunter in this stage can really just pounce on a single target. And, well, they've sent the Elder Glock off them as well. What is going on here? Trevenant's a little bit of a difficult choice to go up against, but Haunter can get out of dodge, and they do just there for a moment. I still don't understand what's going on.
What is happening?
What is it?
Sereru is going down there from the aggression coming in from Hog Riders. It's a really interesting comp that they're running, but they're going to do their best with it. The issue is we have a Trevenant up and ready to roll. We have the Combuskin up and ready to roll. So it's a tough thing to go up against at the moment for Hog Riders. They're going to have to try and get a bit of an XP lead, but against Nouns Esports, that's so incredibly hard to do.
Gatlu did just evolve about 15 seconds ago, so Greedent is finally online and being a menace as Wartortle wants to get another level, of course, before the Regis get up to Blastoise. Umbreon's doing fine alongside this A9 on the bottom half, and A9 now reaching level 8 is going to be one to watch in these big fights as well.
Yeah, at least they do have some really good CC with that Umbreon, the A9, and the Wartortle. So they've definitely got a really strong CC comp running, but it's how they pair that with the damage coming in from the Haunter. So as we see this Regirock spawn in here, we do see some huge zoning coming in from the Trevenant there with the Comfey on it. Hooper portals coming out to get them back to that full health. But wow, what a lot of damage coming in there. They do pick up the Trevenant from the Umbreon. Are they going to secure the Regirock? They do. We have some huge damage and the Unite move coming in from the A9 there, almost showing us how strong this mon still is, baby.
Oh, bottom goal is just absolutely demolished. Hog Riders will run through that central area at the same time, try and steal away a buff or two if they can. It's on the way. Why not pick it up as they now reach the top half and they're looking to do a lot of damage anyway. Well, Shadow Ball is missed from the Gengar, but nonetheless, the rest of the squad just putting a lot of great pressure on.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a huge fight going down here for this top objective. We do see the Unite move coming in from the Greedent there. They do manage to pick up the Trevenant, which is going to be a lot of damage and a lot of TP to lose on that T1. Now we're going to see some aggression coming in from Hog Riders. Are they going to be able to pick up the Blaziken? They do. That means that they have 5 Mons up here against just the Greedent and the Hooper in the backline. Greedent being an absolute menace as we see them do. But, I mean, with these scores going in, it's still 212 points to 61 at the moment. They can now slightly on the bit of the back foot here.
Oh, Green trying to just chunk the Umbreon with bullets here, but nonetheless the opposite does damage. Gengar able to find a lot of picks amongst the A9 as well. Umbreon is going to be taking down McConfey. Well, this goal is going to be removed. Gatlu is the last one standing. Well, the foul play from Umbreon is able to just corral them, move them about, and put them in their place.
I mean, Nouns are accepting the fact that this Regieleki is growing to the side of Hog Riders. They're going to grab that central area XP, and it looks like we may see a rotation down to this bottom objective of Scatlu is up there to defend on that Greedent there. So, I mean, really, really strong from Hog Riders from the get-go here, Bacon. It's going to be interesting to see how these fights bottom out, but at the moment, nobody is pushing for this bottom objective that is literally just spawned.
The Gengar does connect with a Comfey. It's not the biggest win out there, of course, but Shadow Ball once again does connect with the Blaziken. Not able to get the Dream Eater. And that's really it for a Gengar. As long as they can hit all of their moves, they are going to be able to bring a lot of power. That one's sniped away by the Elder Gods, but look at that big commotion in the center. Blaziken looking to run, but the A9's the one that shut them down. Trevenant's still standing in amongst the defensive field forever. Can Hog Riders whittle down? No. Hoover Portal sends them back to base, sends them to security.
What is exciting here, Bacon, is that the CC that's coming in from Hog Riders is pinging around Niang's spots a little bit, and then you see the Gengar coming in with the damage on the Dream Eater. So the fact that obviously A9 drops a lot of damage with that CC, I think that's the thing that's giving them a bit of an edge here, and it's really exciting to see. But Gatlu grabbing as much of these buffs as they can. They do pop their Unite move to try and take out the A9, but hey, look at the CC A9's got. We do see Gengar coming in. They're going to try their best, but it's Gatlu on a Greedent. Are you going to be able to catch that? I think not.
Oh, you're not. And whilst we're essentially giving a lot of guff to the Gengar, aren't we here? But it's because we know that a Talonflame would probably do just as good, if not better, in that same role, right? And you would have that little bit more security if needed to get out of dodge with the likes of Fly. I like it as a good flavor pick. This is really showing how good Nachos is. But it's still a little bit risky, especially when there's 3 minutes left to go and Nouns is still very much in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the T1s are still up on the side of Hog Riders. As we've said previously, we know the danger that can pose, and there is still less than 200 points in this game. So we see a lot of damage coming in here. Are they going to be able to pick up the Blaziken? No, a really good Hooper Portal from Adesu, managing to get them back for those heals there. Blaziken trying to pop off, pick up this Umbreon, but it is so tanky. It just takes too much. It will not give up. They do pick up the A9, though, which means there's a lot of CC that is not going to come their way. Blaziken looks like they're going to make a start on the Lecky. No, instead they're going to stay in the fight. Obviously, everybody's concentrating on the Greedent because of the absolute nuisance that it can be. Is Gengar caught out here? They're on their own. It looks like Nachos may possibly go down. They do. They pick up the Comfey on the Umbreon in all of that mess. Wow. We have 12 seconds till Rayquaza here, Bacon, and it seems like this fight is only just beginning to dissolve.
Yeah. 2 have fallen from Hog Riders. The Blaziken from Nouns. Oh, that's the third. The Gengar going down. They're not going to be involved in the raid fight at all, but neither is Greedent nor Hooper. This is so scattered. I mean, we're talking earlier, we might not see the raid fall. And well, Tano, your prediction there has now got a bit of weight to it.
I'm a soothsayer. I'm going to open up my own stall. But as we see at the meantime, I mean, the Hog Riders are going in to try and take out the defensive Trevenant there, but everybody is back up on Nouns Esports now, so they need to defend not only this Rayquaza pit here, Bacon, but they also have to defend their T1s because, as we mentioned earlier, it's just going to take some back caps. It is less than 200 points in this game, pretty much, so, you know, those back caps are going to be a huge game changer.
Gatlu with the first back cap, 44 from the Greedent. Trevenant is super far forward from Bruv. Can they get Quartz out? That's where the mean look from the Umbreon would have been so useful, but they're running foul play. Glazekin not caught just yet, so both teams still fairly healthy. That's another 47 going to be doubled up to 94 from the Greedent.
1 point difference, and it's the Gengar securing the Rayquaza there, Bacon. That is insane to see. A Hog Rider's going to be able to get some points in that. T1 is still up on their side, but if they can get some Hundo Burgers thrown in here, it looks like the A9's going to get that one so that they don't have to run to the base. It is more risky for them to get there. Sixes is going to get this Hundo Burger in the home base. In the meantime, now Esports is pushing the T2. They've managed to score 40 points. I don't think it's going to be enough though, Bacon.
There is the T1 open, but let's just say they get all 100 in there. Okay, weigh it up. 76, 20 seconds. Can the Trevenant run it to that T1 goal? It's about, what, 75 points different? My mouse is really bad. Oh, no, Trevenant just shot that down. Hog Riders win!
Blastoise! Chelvin with the Hundo done there. We see another Hundo ding coming in. 50 points, coming in from the Umbreon. Hog Riders have managed to win that game. They had a comp that we didn't quite understand to begin with, but wow, what a way to make a statement, Bacon. You are in this qualifier for the Elite Tournament, and you have made a statement by knocking out Nouns Esports there. Wow.
With a Gengar. I hate it so much. I love it, but I hate it so much at the same time. I love that in the hands of great players, any Pokemon is viable because they've got the team around them that made it work. I know we're going to be batting on about this Gengar forever, but it was the A9 of Snow. Again, we saw Snow earlier running as the support player, but no, swapping to the A9 in this case, of course, it would have been Sixes taking up that support role. Having two players being able to swap dependent upon what the comp needs shows the macro of these teams and the capabilities to be able to swap out, keep the opposition guessing, but at the same time being able to adjust, be flexible to what the game, that single game, is needed there.
Wow. I mean, I haven't got any words. I tell you what, the damage and the CC coming in from A9 was a huge advantage in that game. But it's exciting. It's incredible to see somebody pick up something and really showcase. I think what you said there, Bacon, about the fact that like it doesn't, a Mon, if you're really good on that Mon, it is viable, and it was exciting to see that happen there. It just shows how great Pokemon Unite is as a game. These two teams have just showed us that there.
Bragashi, are you there, buddy?
Yeah.
Good. Welcome back, my guy. You were sitting in the back lines. You were watching that, analyzing it. What does your big, I'm not going to say fish brain, say about that, but definitely water type, gigantic, humongous, giga brain say about that?
Gengar.
Gengar.
Didn't expect that one to show up, but it did, and it applied a lot of pressure. It'd be like that sometimes. But yeah, overall, I thought that the builds coming out from both these teams going into draft, I was like, I don't know about this one. And then you just see how it comes down to execution, comes down to how well the teams play with what they got. And yeah, they really did execute throughout this entire match here.
I'm still convinced that there must have been a handshake there, Tano, between the two teams of what to play, kind of. But nonetheless, we enjoyed ourselves, didn't we?
I very much did, but that was one of the best games I've witnessed. Like, wow, the fact that it came true, the back caps was going to start winning that. I mean, yeah, what a way to finish a qualifier. Obviously, we have the last chance qualifier tomorrow, so we're probably going to see some more exciting action here. We're probably going to see Nouns Esports in that position. But, you know, I was showing it earlier. I have a Gengar tattoo. I don't know if you can see that there. I am beyond happy with the Gengar pick there. That's made me very happy.
Bragashi, send us home.
Oh,
yeah, host.
Forgot I had a job. Sorry. I was thinking about Pokemon and Gengar and just the weirdest picks today. I mean, like you guys can't see Kanashi, but he's gotten so many gray hairs just by like stressing out over the last 2 minutes of a couple of these fights. So yeah, my brain empty too. So overall, great tournament that we had today. You know, we had EU qualifier number 2 is the second one. We had a lot of excellent matches and a lot of stressful ones, to say the least. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the broadcast. Thank you everybody for tuning in, everybody in chat for watching this amazing broadcast. We had Spartantano first time on the cast. Good job of holding it down. We have Bacon, you know, the man, the guy who brings all of us together. Yeah,
that's it. That sums out nice.
I had to think of all the stuff. He does everything. And then me, I did something. But yeah, overall, I hope everybody enjoyed the broadcast. I hope everybody had a great time, and we will see you guys, I believe, on Saturday, where we have our last chance qualifier. So a lot of these teams will be taking their shot there, and we look forward to it. So for everybody on the broadcast, I'm Kogashi. We will see you guys on the next one.